last we left our heroes, you had set sail aboard the Wave Cutter en route to the northernmost island of what remains of Evermeet, a sunken island of the first elves, of which only a shattered island coastline remains that surrounds this maelstrom and storm of Seafarer's End. Aboard this ship, you met the colorful, if inexperienced, crew of the Wave Cutter, making fast friends and hopeful promises of what you sought to achieve here, though not fully telling all that you had hoped to engage the ravenous maw in some form or another. Aboard this sailing ship, you traveled through storms, light snow, and fog for 4 days, and on that fourth night, Valentine's perceptive ears caught sign of something untoward. Investigating and quietly alerting the rest of the crew that something was coming aboard, you watched as the quartermaster Han was struck by a harpoon and thrown overboard by hulking monstrosities of the deep. The savage Marrow and a dark tentacled master boarded the ship, and you fell to battle. Much of the initial fray was simply trying to get to the action as the ship rocked back and forth on treacherous seas and under siege by sea creatures beyond this fight. As Mary and Hondo rushed in to engage the hulking merman, Val kicked out the wings of the warden and dove down to save Han from a watery grave. These Marrow wielded magic and brute strength to attempt to throw you overboard or burn you with lightning, but you all managed to hold your own, and before long, the fight was easily in your hands. Seeing the tides turn, some of the Marrow fled, returning to the seas. You watched the whales that were harrying the ship begin to shake free the call of this leader, and soon it was just that leader left. As you closed in on him, surrounding him, you watched as a horrific transformation took place. Elongating and flesh tearing as the mouth and throat split before you, torn by some primordial force beyond you, beyond here. And from the husk of this creature, a new voice spoke. This kind of horrid, gargling, inhuman sound emerged, presumably the Maw speaking through a devotee to say, "I see you." And that is where we begin tonight, as the body slumps down. Most of you stand kind of at the helm of this ship, at the bow of the ship, looking over this body, and the remains, Mary, still in the ocean, and the rocking of the ship slowly kind of settling. What do you do?
I'm gonna kick off and fly out and get Mary first.
Easily enough.
Have you been working out? Oh, God.
God, everything's very waterlogged. Did you know whales were that big? Whales are really fucking big. Like, I thought dragons were big, but, like, that thing is fucking big.
I've never even seen a whale before. Like, maybe in the distance in Verdantia when I was, like, on the balcony in my palatial room.
You guys also watch as Captain West and the first mate Arrakis, Han as well, now having kind of recuperated and been brought back on board, they begin to kind of catch up with the rest of the crew, who are still kind of fighting, on their sea legs, and most of you catch with pretty passive perceptions, pretty high passive perception, I should say. You catch a couple of conversations that the ship is taking some damage below, and seems like the crew and the quartermaster and all these members of the crew have kind of gone below to try and help shore up and deal with the ship having taken damage, likely from these whales kind of battering the hull. But you're free to do as you please.
Sorry, I had a mic adjustment there.
It's okay.
Han, you okay? You okay, bud?
You catch him just before he falls in suit with the rest of his captain down below. I'm okay. Thank you for, not leaving me behind.
Never would, pal. Don't you worry.
I suppose I don't know how I'll be much help down there. I'm not particularly skilled with construction, but it seems the ship has taken a bit of a beating by those whales.
Yeah, if you want to talk to whales, Mary knows a lot about them, apparently.
I hope I never am that close to one again, in truth.
They were big, real big.
Yeah. What the fuck were these things?
We'd heard that there was something called Marrow that are around the area we wanted to head to, but this is our first encounter with something like this, to be honest.
This is my first encounter with them too. I didn't, heard tell of creatures like this, but never. I suppose we're not as close to shore as I'm used to. Several days on open ocean. I suppose this is their territory.
Hondo, you ever seen a marrow before?
Should I do a history check or?
Absolutely.
And I forgot my own dice. Let me grab it. This is so weird.
Okay. 9 plus your history. History or
Uh,
nature. I'm okay with history or nature, whatever your choice.
Okay, let's see. History. Okay, they're both the 3, so plus 3, so 12.
Oh, that's enough. Given your background and where you come from, the Tritons would have a long-standing kind of history combating Marrow and similar kind of threats to the deep. The Marrow are kind of almost like the demented, tortured version of Tritons. They, their history, exactly what happened to them is kind of, there are many different tales and stories. No one knows exactly what happened, but you would have maybe not necessarily fought hundreds of them, but fought in your career. Certainly, that's not a stretch to know.
I have seen them, and I'm sure we will see them again. They will not go away easily. Which leaves me to one possibility. Captain, I need your opinion as well.
What do you need my opinion on? You meant?
I meant the real captain.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Your opinion will be needed as well. This is a
I'll hang.
Our ship is badly damaged, and we know we might have a kraken coming up.
Don't say.
So this is my theory. This is my suggestion. We take planks from this ship to build us a very decent secondary safety ship. One that we will all hop on. We will then load the remaining hulk of this ship with dynamite, and we will send it on its way.
As you call out to pull West away from the rest of the crew, as he's kind of organizing this like repair below decks, and he comes up as you're kind of beginning this plan. He's kind of like nodding along and says, well, we don't have any explosives aboard, first of all. Second, we don't have enough wood to create another ship capable of carrying all of us. Nor, I think, the time. That's a couple of days of hard labor, if not weeks, to craft a good vessel. If you guys have anything to expedite this, we're at your service. But preferably don't sacrifice my ship.
We have done this.
Nice.
I have done this before on one of my ships, but I do understand the limitations we have. It is just a suggestion.
I'll take it under advisement. For the time being, I'm going to make sure that this one doesn't sink. If you need me, I'll be below. And he kind of dismisses himself down into the hall.
Man, a couple whales tickled this thing. Want to just give up on it, Hondo? Want to just abandon this ship?
You will be surprised the amount of planks on a ship, especially one like this. It is very reinforced, which means that there is a lot of spare timber that we could use for a secondary ship. It doesn't have to be fancy, just enough to get us to where we need to go.
You do note there are 2 like rowboats that are used for traveling to and from shore, and in the event of an emergency, you could get into these boats that would hold 6 people at least, maybe some more, to each boat. So you have those at your disposal in the event that you did need to make a hasty departure. And realistically, if you did want to try and create like a raft, you can't make another ship, but like you could try and construct like a raft out of extra timber and some of the pieces that are on the ship. Like you could make something. It will definitely take significant time, but it's something that obviously you're just throwing out as a suggestion. So that is an option.
And we do have the magical capabilities to create something explosive.
Do we?
You do?
Looking around?
I mean, don't we? I mean, there must be something in our bags of garbage.
Bags of garbage. I mean, I can make
Is
something
this
blow up if I have a
attitude
giant keg of stuff that I don't have with me because I was afraid it would blow the ship up. But it's in my basement in Arendelle.
I can
Very far
summon
away.
energy to make explosions, but
There we go.
I
I don't
mean,
think it would
like,
blow up a whole ship.
We could teleport to your basement, get them, and bring them back.
we could. Let me just say this, Mary. I don't know if you heard it. You guys want to just come over to this railing, move away from the crew for a sec? Right. I mean, West. If West is still here, I don't want to exclude him. He can hang. Okay. Did you guys fucking hear that thing talk? When that guy like ripped apart and was transforming all horrifically, and then that voice came out? Mary, the fish monster thing said, "I see you."
Oh, great. Well, we don't know a fuck ton about these, but we do know that the Kraken, I'll say quietly, likes things worshipping it, and that it's a giant eldritch evil monster that probably doesn't want for much other than destruction. So the fact that it's using its followers to see through that's rough. We don't have a surprise.
I have long been told stories on the sea of creatures in the water forming alliances with the birds in the essence that they can see through them.
Do you say birds?
Yes, the birds of the ocean. They have the ability to become one with them briefly, to see through their eyes. And I'm guessing that might be how they spy on us.
You know that
They're everywhere too.
not only birds, but has the capability to basically control, or at least reach into the minds of any simple sea creature. That includes whales, that includes sharks and fish. And Honda, you would know that from both reading the book on the Kraken and just your history on the seas. It's traditionally kept to like a pretty wide berth around where it layers, or where it would be. So you imagine, you guys are still a couple of days out. You imagine from this distance, that's way too far. Hence the, utilizing someone who is basically worshiping, like they're a devotee of the beast, having to use them as its like purpose. So, but you imagine that once you get within from the island into like where this maelstrom seems to be, that these creatures both above and below the sea could become vessels or eyes for the beast.
We got to keep, that's great info, Hondo. So we got to keep that in mind if we're talking strategy. The closer we get, we got to make sure no one's listening in.
I would say let's start keeping an eye out for anything that's flying above us. If we do notice birds, we shoot them down. If we see creatures in the water, we shoot them down. Basically, we need to be guns a-blazing for the next 4 hours.
You suggesting guns a-blazing? This is so weird. I personally can talk to some of these animals. The Warden of the Fae grants me that ability, so I don't know. Just something to keep in mind.
Communicate to animals too. We need help.
Brawley and I love animals. You want to murder any animal you
They will lie, they will cheat, and they will steal from you. They are not to be trusted. Their loyalty is to one only.
I mean, seagulls are assholes.
And it's not you.
They steal a lot of shit. They're basically
Yeah,
And I hate the fucking seagulls. They're shitting everywhere. They make a mess. I say we take them out.
Your like symbol as a Triton is a seagull, like shitting everywhere, making a mess. That is your jam.
Much cleaner.
Kyle, what time is it? It's like the middle of the night, right? Isn't it between watches right now?
You guys are at second watch, or maybe first watch, but still like late. It was the end of Valentine's watch when this kicked off.
Okay.
So
Yeah, which was watch number 2. Yeah.
so like it's late. You guys need to go. You don't necessarily need to go through the third watch like to play it out, but you guys need to get back to sleep.
Yeah, I got the shit kicked out of me by a bunch of fish people, so I need to go the fuck to sleep.
Okay.
But I think we need to get a better lay of whatever the fuck we're going to be dealing with before we make anything specific. I mean, Hondo, we talked about a plan of having a ship for sacrifice. I just don't know that that's something I'm comfortable with doing with these people's livelihood. Unless you're willing to fork out enough money for them to replace this ship, but that's a lot of money. And B, we just don't know. We don't know enough about specifically the terrain of what we're going against. We might need to get a little closer. I don't know if there's any other research we can do, Valentine, with some of your shit. I'm not
Tomorrow,
sure.
I think is a good opportunity to get some more info in terms of like scouting. We can get on this ship and keep moving, but I mean, we have ways of being aerial creatures ourselves, or get
Just
down
keep
under.
in mind, being aerial in basically a hurricane might not always work to our benefit, so we just have to keep an eye out on those storms.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I would say.
Why don't we get some? Yeah,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say let's get some sleep. But what were you thinking?
I would say that it's very easy to steal a ship. As a pirate, I can get them a ship if they lose this one. Not a problem. Secondly, maybe we capture one of these creatures, and then you and Brawley can try your talking to them business. They're not gonna say too much, probably. They'll probably be very resistant, but see what info you can get from them. And if they don't talk, you just kill them.
Are you thinking an animal creature or like the marrow, those like fish things we
Animal
fought?
or marrow, because you said you can talk to animals, so maybe they will be able to shed some light.
Yeah.
And then if they don't talk or they're assholes, we cut their heads, we stick it to the mast, and we serve as a warning to the remaining creatures. Every time we see one, we catch it, behead it, put it on the mast.
Something to keep it as a note, just to like piggyback on what Kevin's saying here. These marrow, and especially the kind of tentacled, whether priest or master, or however you want to look at this kind of leader figure of this band that attacked you, they seemed intelligent. They seemed highly intelligent. They seemed, at least for 3 of the 7 combatants, were skilled in magic. So in terms of if you were looking to actually like interrogate, they seem like intelligent creatures. So like it would definitely be a possibility. They would have the ability, you'd have to figure out how to speak to them, and it's a whole social thing of interrogation. In terms of speaking and interrogating sea creatures, their intelligence is significantly less. You will likely not be able to intimidate or like interrogate a creature, but with Allie and Valentine's ability to speak to animals, you could get some information. You could learn some things. Just keep in mind, very little stuff. They're stupid.
Where's scary thing? Scary thing everywhere.
I mean, that's a good call by Kevin / Hondo to learn more. Talk to one of these villain creatures.
I think that's a great idea.
They all got away, didn't they?
These ones, there was one who survived and dove away. The others are dead, and the one was not killed by you, but is dead now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, let's get some sleep, and then tomorrow, let's see what the sea brings us, and if we could maybe spy some of them. The closer we get to these islands, we could try Hondo's interrogation plan. Just to be clear, like the first part of it, the part about cutting off the heads and starting like some sort of necklace that we hang on the ship of heads, I'm not as down for. And I say that with all respect, Brawley, for your dragon tooth necklace. I think that looks elegant and lovely.
Well, thank you. I honestly don't even know why I did it in the first place, but
This is dope.
trying to be different.
As you guys return to sleep, as I said, we don't need to roll through the last bit of watch, especially seeing as the crew are going to be up to repair sections of the ship. And as you guys go to sleep, you do see that like the lower floor, specifically in the cargo hold, has been like they're working on bailing out a decent amount of water. You're not sure how much damage the ship has taken, but as you go to bed down, West, and whether you ask West or you hear it in passing conversation, the ship, they're going to hold the ship in this position for the rest of the night. Like your sails are down, you're not moving anywhere, you're just kind of holding as they work to fix. So no ground is gained through the night. It shouldn't hamper you guys too much more, but as the morning breaks, with Kevin gone, Gord, I'd like you to give me a navigation check to kick off your 5th day of travel. So this is going to be a wisdom check, but or a survival check. If you have proficiency in survival, so if you have survival in your skills and it has a black dot beside it, you can make a survival check at advantage. Otherwise, just a straight wisdom check plus your proficiency bonus.
I'll inspire Gord.
Sure.
And Gord, you could roll a d10 on top of that for my inspiration.
So it doesn't look like you have proficiency in survival. So go ahead and just make a straight wisdom check with adding your proficiency bonus in a d10.
Great.
21 plus 3.
Yeah, for proficiency, yeah. Or 5 now, I think, right? For proficiency.
You guys have a 5 proficiency.
Yeah, sorry, the 3 was the
D10.
And then, plus 5.
Oh, yeah, damn, Jesus.
It's a difficult morning as you guys come to. The storm and fog that had kicked up into the battle last night has kind of continued through, and it seems as you wake up, the sea itself is raging, and the skies above are raging in kind. A pretty tumultuous storm has kicked off through the night, and it has made your sleep. I'm actually going to get everyone to give me a Constitution saving throw, as the seas were really rough, and after a battle it would be really difficult to kind of finish off that end of your rest. So
why do you
go
punish
ahead,
us like this?
just for fun.
Con. Damn it.
Go ahead and just call it out when you roll your con save.
18.
Fuck.
Okay, you're good.
8.
That's a failure.
Ooh.
16.
16's good.
Just had a bad feeling.
Kev, I don't know if you heard me. A Constitution saving throw, please.
30-20.
Dirty 20 is fine. Plus your Constitution modifier, Kevin. Saving throw.
Con mod is saving throw plus 3. Yeah.
You're fine.
Oh, 11.
Unfortunately, Valentine
I worked so hard last night.
worked very hard last night.
Sleep.
The adrenaline to kick off into a battle and to like do all the things you needed to do to get in that mindset, you really didn't get back to sleep. And because you had watched as well, you got the least sleep of everybody. You have 1 point of exhaustion into your next day's adventure. Thankfully, as Gord nails your trajectory, even through terribly stormy skies and no very obvious landmarks in sight, just using kind of like natural instinct, guides you through the storm and through the day. With no encounter. And thankfully, you are able to kind of progress through this day, another day of storm and dark skies, and into the morning of a 3rd day, being your 7th day on the seas here, where the skies, as it breaks, kind of as morning breaks, begins to lose that stormy sky, though it's still gray. It's not Caribbean beautiful sun, but it is a clearer day, and you can just barely see the signs of land in the distance, just almost like little peaks, still several hours away. However, before we kick off that, is there anything you guys wanted to do over those other days of travel?
I just don't know if legend lore would work. Like, legend lore has to be on actual legendary things of like historical relevance, right? Yeah.
Typically creatures, places, or items of legendary purpose. So
Would
it depends
the
on
marrow
what you're
count?
looking for.
Because I imagine there's a lot of like piratey kind of tales?
No.
Tales? No.
Not particularly. Marrow, like, that's, yeah, legend lore is not exactly like a, it's not Wikipedia, you know?
I don't want to throw you off because I want to keep going with this, but I was thinking it would be smart on a legend lore to know more about the one relic we don't know anything about, which is the Voidwalker.
Sure.
Oh, Rose.
Rose.
Rosie's into the Voidwalker too.
Give me 2 seconds as I try and track down where my notes on the other relics are.
Oh, so if there's another day, do I get my exhaustion off?
Yes, it was worked through the next day's travel, but
I took no watch. I got a hard 12 hours of sleep, as I usually want to do.
where do I have those? I have
You can just tell us it later.
so many documents. If you guys want to have any other like conversations or any other decisions like over these like days of travel, as you begin the seventh day and see sign of your destination on the horizon, go ahead. But give me 2 seconds.
So Hondo, you're you know these seas, you know, setting up ambushes and stuff on the great ocean. If we see some of these marrows, maybe we should do something like that. Like maybe we should get 2 people on a raft, pretend like they're adrift, lure in some marrow, and then we spring a trap on them and then get one. Does that make sense?
I'll tell you, there has been an occasion where I have fallen for one of these traps. We
Does not
saw
shock
a
me.
ship on the sea, and we got ready to board it as we usually do. And when we got onto it, we found no one. It was very unusual.
That's scary.
Before you knew it, it turns out they were all hiding under deck. And when we were not expecting it, they launched a counter. We lost a lot of men before putting that down. So these ambushes work.
Okay.
Just have to have the bait, and unfortunately, the bait is us.
Yeah.
Does the
Huh.
I
ship
think
not
we
have
put you and Brawley on the ship.
I was thinking that too, honestly.
Does the ship not have any lifeboats?
That's what I was thinking, on a little cutie little lifeboat.
Got two like rowboats.
But
So
you
if we
must be at a good enough distance away from this ship. If you're too close, it
Mhm.
will look like a trap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it works, I can get there pretty fast through the air, and I can bring someone with me. We
I
get
can-
Fern. Someone can do the same thing.
I can hide under the ship. Well, actually,
Well,
That's
wouldn't-
cool.
Wouldn't they be coming from under the water?
Or no, I can hide underwater, but maybe like 50 feet away or something.
You're so stealthy. Yeah, you could probably do that. This is a good play. This is a good play.
Remember, we need to trap one to interrogate
Mhm.
it and
Mhm.
cut its head off.
No.
The last part's not needed, but
Needed to
certainly
send a
possible.
message.
That's like a
Um,
nice to have.
So when those birds fly over, they will see that head on the pike.
Oh yeah, good call. So sorry, Kyle, you want to do this part and then jump to the next part?
To the point of seeing other creatures and especially
Mhm.
birds, because of the significant storm over the last couple of days travel, you've seen nothing, and really you haven't spent a whole lot of time outside on the deck of the ship. It's been pretty bad conditions for 2 straight days. On this day, just as you kick off, someone can make a perception check if they wish to try and see of any creatures nearby, but that would be a check you can make in a second. Val, over these days, if you wanted to look into the vestments of the Voidwalker, as what you want to legend lore.
Yeah.
So you slip into the kind of like storytelling like vision that is provided through Aetherius, and you don't see much. You see darkness, and really it's just the voice that you hear from Aetherius in this darkness, and it's just basically explains it goes through a little bit of the ages of Vesaria and one of an expansion of magic and the expansion of basically an age of arcane expansion and experimentation early on in basically the introduction of magic. similar to how the mantle of the phoenix was crafted and created through like experimentation and trying to replicate or at least utilize the abilities of a phoenix. The vestments of the Voidwalker are similar and different. The creator, and Legend Lore doesn't name a creator of the vestments of the Voidwalker, which is notable. The creator sought the understanding of the moment a creature passed through the veil, through life to death, this passage of time, this passage of soul between the prime material plane and either an outer plane, even the ethereal plane, or wherever their fated soul is to pass to. There's a moment in time that this creator was so fixated on. They wanted to know what caused that cross section, what was at that precipice between life and death. And they spent countless years on this endeavor, studying the border ethereal itself. And as the vision kind of shifts from this darkness, it doesn't necessarily create anything, but you see faint shapes of shadow. Very light kind of color to each of them, almost like humanoid shapes. And you feel, and as the voice kind of continues to explain, like this border ethereal is this plane layered on top of your plane, where the souls of these lost kind of await their transition into the next stage of the afterlife. This creator spent so much time there that their vestments, the robes and armor and equipment that they had, became basically suffused with that same ethereal quality. And whether through a divine connection, not sure. Whether through their arcane prowess alone, not sure. The vestments themselves became imbued with the power to pass through the ethereal, almost at will, and the abilities to utilize darkness and shade and this border ethereal to their advantage. That's what you get.
That's very cool.
You
Man,
know
Gord, you'd
who-
look dope in that, Gord.
Notably, no kind of location as
Yeah.
to their final resting place or the name of the creator. You're not sure if that's a limitation of legend lore or what.
We don't know who like wore them before, right? Did we see anything like that in that painting? No.
No, there's been no sign from any time you've spent with Uth or the Dragon Guard or any of this history as to who or what basically wielded or wore the vestments of the Voidwalker. In your first initial, like the book you received in like detailing their abilities, they were almost like an independent fighter, you know what I mean, in the battle, in the reckoning. They were not necessarily aligned, but they were legendary in their ability and their effect on the battle.
I know this is like a long shot, but did any of those looks that look like Sirius, the angel of the Raven Queen, or the champion of the Raven Queen?
It was really difficult to identify any particular like identifying marks. Like it seemed more like the effect of the vision just kind of showcasing like think of like a generic idea, like a picture of this world. However, with that information and thinking on Sirius and on her purpose, those two kind of align nicely.
Mm-hmm.
It's a possibility that like your brain does connect those two pieces and then says that, that's certainly
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It didn't come up. We've Legend Lord Sirius, right? It didn't come up there, but that doesn't mean that there's no connection. We also didn't really know who she was
Before.
Yeah, well the thing is you did technically know that she is not necessarily from the same time as the Reckoning. The events of her not really ascension, that's the wrong term, but from Castirian, being the champion of Castirian to becoming the champion of the Raven Queen to becoming her position now as like this angel of death was post Reckoning.
But I mean,
that doesn't mean that she could still bear that.
It kind of makes sense for there to be some kind of Raven Queen tie. It's very about passing through things.
Yeah, it fits very well with if someone is studying the passage of life and death, the Raven Queen is basically the god of that passage. So while maybe there's that kind of ambiguity to was it divine influence that granted the bearer and the item its power, there's no information, truthfully. But it makes sense.
Well, we know we're going to see her again closer to the full moon, or at least go through that veil. And I mean, Hondo's probably going to die on this mission, so we'll see her again even before that. So
Have faith. I'm well versed in the matters of the sea.
No, it's very true, actually. If anything happens to the ship, Hondo's probably has the best chance of all of us.
I'd probably just teleport away with most of you.
This is just as you say that, question out of game. Teleport, is that a creatures you see with an X, or does everyone have to be right there?
Teleport is creatures I can see. Like, we don't have to hold hands like plane shift, but it does have a short range. Let me just pull it up.
Just curious.
10 feet.
Yeah, so we got to be close, but at least we don't have to hold hands. That's scary.
No, it's just good to know in case of emergencies how close we all have to get.
10 feet. 2 squares.
It's pretty tight. Like it's
Gather round.
Obviously doable, but yeah, having to touch with plane shift makes it a lot harder.
Speaking of, though, I was thinking of this last night before bed in game, but literally this week. Can I try and take at some point a tiny piece of the ship and just put it in the bag of holding, just as like another little like totem if I ever need to get back here?
Sure.
How would that work with a moving item?
I don't know, but I thought it could help.
You can make an Arcana check to see if that would work.
Sure. Pretty good. 17 plus 12, so 29.
It is a destination that you would know, but you don't necessarily know where the ship is. If you think of it like that. So like you want to teleport to the ship, but that's not necessarily teleporting to the location on the plane of the material plane of Vesaria.
You don't got the GPS coordinates. It's just
Exactly.
where the boat is.
So your chances of a mishap or a false destination, or basically of it not working, are very high. So in terms of like game terms, taking the item is really the only way that you could get even a bearing. So that's a good start already. But your check to like see if you hit the right spot could go poorly.
I'll keep it in the hopes that I would only use it if I knew where the ship was. Like if we dock the ship somewhere on this island and go explore underwater, something like that.
That's a very different circumstance, in which case you know both the location of the ship and, well, you know the location of the ship and where the ship is in the greater scheme of the world. That to me is way different in terms of like
than just trying to pop
6 weeks from now. You're just like, yeah, let's just go back to the wave cutter. Like totally different circumstance.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Anything else before this day commences properly?
Not for me.
I think that's
Anyone we want a crystal? Sorry, you go, Mary.
Go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say, anyone we want a crystal ball on? Anyone we want to scry on?
Somebody?
Who are we concerned? Either might be up to. I mean, it never hurts to try to check in on like Egoth or Throatier. Like we have no concept of what they're doing to prepare. Like, what's the worst that could happen? They fucking save.
One time I tried to scry. I've had bad scries where it hurts me. But I like that idea, but probably not Raymond, probably not Throatier because they're so powerful.
That's why I said Egoth. Like
Egoth, yeah,
we've
a good
succeeded
play.
with him before.
If he's on this plane, let's try it. Yeah, I like that idea. So let me just check because I would have to attune to this. I think I'm on the Pearl of Power now.
It's if you wanted to do it over the two days
Awesome.
of travel, like I'm not being super stingy about it being right this moment. Like you guys have 2 full days to go about doing shit. So like there's no need to fuck around with it.
Sweet.
Though
Then let's do it.
make sure right now what you want to be attuned to for going into the island is attuned to. Like make
Okay, I'm
those
gonna do-
decisions now.
Going into the island, I'm going to attune to Pearl of Power. But
Okay.
for this pre-day, I'll do Crystal Ball so we can spy on Egoth.
Kevin,
Absolutely.
that's
too.
something you should look at too, because you have a billion attuned items. Decide what you want attuned for the fight.
Kev, I think so does Gordo. Gord's got a lot. Gord's got that dancing sword.
Gord has a little less now, but
Pardon me.
Keep
So you're
Gambler's
gonna-
Blade though.
Sorry,
That
just
thing's
want to
good for you.
confirm. Egoth is your scry goal?
Yeah, hopefully he's on this plane. But yeah, Egoth, Vanceroy, killed him once. Seen my friends kill him 2 more times.
Yeah, I'm just
I guess no, I didn't see him die. We didn't see him die at the island.
No.
he was very close, but no, he didn't completely go down.
Yeah,
No.
they pieced out of there when it failed.
So I just want to read real quick scrying. You can see here in particular creatures, same plane of existence as you, wisdom saving throw.
Last time we
modified
got
by-
Lav to draw a picture because there was something about if you have an image of them or something, right?
Yeah, there would be like there's a save modifier for like a connection. You have either a likeness or picture, possession or garment, body part, lock of hair, bit of nail, or something like body.
Yeah, we don't got that.
But you
No,
don't
Lav would have
them.
had it in her book. She's not here.
hmm
But you guys, I would say, are pretty familiar with the target. So
Mhm.
you know it's a -5 out of the gate to his roll, because you're familiar with him. Okay, I'm gonna make my wisdom save. I just had to pull up Egoth's character sheet here.
With 17.
We're asking Kyle to pull up all the shit that had nothing to do with
I know.
doing.
That does not bother me. I'm happy to. Here we go. Ooh, with the -5, not gonna do it.
For him or us?
That's a 9.
Oh.
Even without the -5, I think he still failed. As you, on one of these stormy days, descend into this crystal ball, kind of in this kind of like trying to gather as much information as you can, though you guys are focused on this kraken, this like adventure at hand, there's always in the back of your mind the threat that is ever pervasive, the Revenant Vow. What are they planning for this 4th seal? What are they planning beyond this 4th seal? And it's been some time now since you've battled them last and you were successful in your battle. And knowing that, they're going to come back harder. What are they up to? You descend into this vision, and your mind is plucked from the ship into the clouds, and it just kind of descends or ascends up into the clouds, into darkness and dark sky above, and it stays in darkness, and you hear before you see the kind of shifting sound of movement. You hear heavy footfalls, many footfalls. You hear marching. You hear kind of grumbling and groaning. You hear heavy breathing. The sound of many on the move. And the vision kind of solidifies. And you can see You don't get a good look at Egoth's face because he is wearing that infernal plate that you saw him wearing when you last engaged him. This Hell Knight appearance, the dark armor that seems to almost smolder with flame and with smoke. And it does as he travels through darkness, as he travels through difficult, unknown terrain. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Come on, D&D Beyond. 32. I rolled a 19.
You watch as over this 10-minute interval of time, Egoth is constantly just kind of turning and like checking over his, as you see past him, there are hundreds of people following him. They seem to be in the Revenant Vow colors. They seem to be, you see the skilled armored individuals. You see the just kind of robed individuals. You can see they're kind of scattered amongst this army moving en masse through dark cavern. You can see they're holding standards bearing the symbols of the Revenant Vow and of the Nine of Asmodeus. You can see scattered about kind of torchlight and kind of lit by the torchlight in this kind of cave atmosphere. You can see machines of war being moved alongside them. You hear the heavy creak of timber, of rolling trebuchet. You can see beasts of burden and large beasts traveling alongside them. You get a pretty good idea with that perception, looking past Egoth. He's leading this army. He's leading them through underground terrain that kind of shimmers with the light of the Underdark. You don't have a good bearing on where. You've never really traveled through the Underdark yourself, and for the most part, it's not featureless, but you're not getting any signs of where in the world they are. But you do know that they utilize travel through the Underdark from the Titan's throne to Castirian. And Egoth is currently leading an army somewhere.
I would just like take a moment after the vision fades and then tell them that. Yeah, they're like back in the Underdark. We know that's how they got to Castirian. We know they were using tunnels before when we were back in Hammerstock.
Where do they get all these people? Like, I know some of them are. We've met with random zealots, dumbasses, people like Malgrim, who they sent to train, but this is a lot of fucking people. We took out a good number of them last time. I guess they have devils too, but fuck.
But the thing is, do you remember when we fought that one guy in the Cal who was pretending to be just a commoner when we saved it from the Beast of the Cal? And he said he'd be back. I'll see you soon. I think the people we defeat do come back. The Revenants.
Yeah, the point of Revenant.
But I could see the seduction of power with them. They're trying to tell people this is going to be the 10th layer of hell. And if you don't want to be enslaved to devils, you better sign up and do your part. Well, why don't we focus on the problem right now in front of us, though?
There's nothing else.
You look good.
Sorry, good.
No, he looked good, though. It's good shape.
He did.
For a guy who's died 3 times.
Couldn't really see his face to see like what his skincare routine is like right now, but he looked good. Still swole.
Definitely. though faintly smoking. You're not sure if that's like a sign of something or what. Regardless, unless there's anything else. As this day progresses, you watch the skies lighten ever so slightly, no longer storming. And not far now, over the next couple of hours, you watch as this curved line of islands begin to open before you. And you begin to chart your course, adjusting the sails to make your way to the northernmost island. And you kind of come at it from the south and rise up and around. You can see these small islands as you're passing by that appear from a distance like little pockets of uninhabited jungle. You can faintly see sandy shores. But beyond them, as you're kind of watching and passing, headed north, you see black clouds and a haze of torrential rain that eclipses the horizon. Several miles of vicious storm and churning waves and deadly prey just kind of holding in the middle of this ring of islands. Captain West navigates to the northernmost island as you instruct. And he kind of comes in at a wide berth, and you catch as he's kind of calling out and kind of adjusting, and slows the ship significantly as it does. He kind of calls out, or he doesn't call it, but someone in the crow's nest calls out that there's a reef ahead. And as you guys kind of take to looking out and just kind of taking a back seat, letting these guys do their thing, you can see at the almost surrounding the southwestern corner of the northern island, this reef, and you can see a graveyard of ships. You can see masts kind of sticking out, and you can see broken bits of old ships kind of collided and held up at odd angles on rock, and just beneath you can see massive reef in this otherwise incredibly clear water. As they slow the speed of the wave cutter pretty significantly, he navigates through this graveyard and reef, and from the crow's nest, kind of receiving direction back and forth through this channel between some of the outer landmass and into a cove that is kind of on the inside of the reef, and a cove where you can see there's a beach on the northernmost island that you were headed to, in which case he drops anchor, and you have arrived as West kind of instructs some of the crew to start prepping the boats for departure to land.
Can I do a perception check here just to see if there's anything watching us, whether that's creature or below the surface?
Sure.
$24.
You on the approach over the last couple hours, you do spot a couple of small birds up in the sky, but they're very high. It's difficult to even identify. You imagine seagulls, that would be about the size, but it's difficult to get a direct line. As you had been coming through the reef and making your way into this cove, you saw several fish of kind of tropical looking color. There seemed to be a creature that looked almost shark-like before descending deeper into the water. You saw large turtles. There's quite a few sea creatures in this area, though nothing that sparked like marrow or anything like that. Yeah, just kind of what you would expect on the approach. And as you get to the cove, as the anchor is dropped, and you can see you're maybe 70-ish, not even more than that, you're maybe a couple hundred feet to the beachhead where the ship has dropped anchor, because you want to be far enough away. You can see that the island itself is heavily jungled past this kind of beach. You can see the beach is kind of extends all the way around. The jungle
What
itself,
color is the sand of the beach?
It seems like normal white sand.
Just white?
Yeah. You do note, kind of at where the beach, the there's like a large kind of rocky exterior part of just natural looking rock, nothing mountainous or anything, but just natural rock, and that descends into a jungle. You can see there is a remnants of a ship that has long fallen to decay, but is kind of beached on the shore here, and then jungle just kind of expands outwards, and you do see sign of birds, and you can hear birds and other kind of jungle creatures beyond.
Let's just be careful how we talk about it. If that kraken can slip into the brains of other things, I mean, it would still have the hearing of a seagull or a bird or a fish. So let's just be mindful if something's close that we don't reveal anything, not incriminating, but like our general plans. Oh no, I'm pretty sure I saw something spooky in the water, like a shark. That's not gonna like bite us if we go in there, right? Like, it would respect you as king of the ocean.
It would. I mean, if it comes near, I'll just hunt it down.
Okay, makes me feel a little better.
Kyle, as we kind of got close to these islands, because we didn't really have an idea of this from the map or from anything else, what was the name of the navigator again?
Your navigator's name is it's Han. Han is your quartermaster.
Oh, it's Han. Okay.
Our boy.
I would then go to Han and ask if he can help now that we get a view of these islands, because they're in like a crescent or in something like that, right? Can we try to figure out how many like kilometers, or I guess miles in D&D, like the diameter of this would be, or like how far we think to like the center of this maelstrom?
From the northernmost island to center of Maelstrom?
Yeah, or across the whole thing, like whatever we can try to guesstimate at now that we're here, and with maps and any other tools he might have.
Sure. Let's see. As he's been the one who's kind of helping guide West into this cove. So you catch him as he's coming down from the crow's nest, as West is getting the rowboats ready, and you guys are just kind of preparing yourselves to go ashore. You catch Han, and he kind of looks across and studies his notes and studies his map, and kind of comparing with the map that you have provided as well. He gathers. It's at least from here to the center, at least 6 miles, roughly.
Not bad.
It's not particularly massive.
It's like a small storm. Maybe I don't really know a lot about that. I mean, it's a big storm. I don't know what I was expecting. Thank you. I don't want to say too much in front of him because I don't want to scare him.
He does note though, he's like, it doesn't seem to be moving, which is unnerving.
What's the water doing in the middle of these islands? Like, is it just like standard ocean does? Maybe I'll ask Hondo, like if the tides or like the waves washing up on the shore of these islands look normal, or does it look like they're just like pulling towards the center of something? Sure.
If you want to get Hondo in on it, Hondo can make a let's say perception on that. 13 plus your perception.
I think it's 12. Yes, it's 12. 25.
From, as Mary kind of points it out and you look, yeah, the storm is odd. The storm not moving is definitely odd. That gives you a little bit of pause, but kind of aligns with what you would expect from the position of a kraken and a kraken's lair. That seems to fit. Plus, it fits the stories and the tales of Seafarer's End, a storm that is perpetual. The waves from where you are here in this cove, and kind of as you've been making your way, they don't seem to be doing anything strange right now. It seems to be kind of what you would expect for the wind conditions, and the storm doesn't seem to be having an effect at this distance. You're still a ways out before you would reach like even the outer band of this kind of maelstrom from this island.
So like the wind's not bad here.
It's like
It's more than
very
usual.
slightly more than usual, but very slightly. Like you would, if you didn't already know a little bit about what's going on and see this storm, it would be nothing that you would find suspicious.
Okay.
Why don't we figure out, like, I think Wildcards should make land on this beach. I want to check out that abandoned ship, see maybe if it was hit by Marrow, see if we can find any clues to what brought that down.
We could use it as our trap.
Yeah, you said you're good at fixing ships.
Mm-hmm.
How many days
let's
has
just
it
see.
been?
7.
Fuck, half our 2 weeks is gone.
Yeah, with some of the significant storms, you guys made good checks, but the storms were holding you a little bit at bay. Some of the damage and the time lost there, and your kind of initial kickoff was a little slower than anticipated. You basically you kept making ground, losing ground, making ground, losing ground, making ground, losing, and then basically timed out at the same speed. So it took the full extent of your 7 days.
Good news is we don't need these guys for a return trip, though. We can get to wherever we want to go as quick as we can.
No, the problem, yeah, that's very true. The problem is, where the fuck do we go from here?
Let's go to this island. I like the Marrow plan.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, after that, 6 miles. We aren't swimming 6 miles. We aren't flying into a storm for 6 miles. We'll figure that out later. I agree. Let's make some land. I'm really fucking tired of standing on a ship. Hondo, I don't know how the fuck you do it. Like, just consistently feel like you're gonna throw up is not a fun feeling.
I felt for the last year being with you guys.
As you guys kind of solidify the let's go aboard, West comes over to you with Arrakis kind of just behind him. He says, well, the ships are, the boats are prepared for your journey inland. If you wish, we can accompany you. Otherwise, we will remain aboard here, and you can easily flag us down. If you want to set a fire and send up some smoke to signal that you'd like us to come ashore, we can make our way up if need be. At least some of us. I'd make my way forward. Otherwise, we're at your beck and call. But I think for the time, we'll remain here.
Valentine has some very distinct magical flair.
Elegant.
Oh, sure. Even better if you have a
look for the very ostentatious pink lightning beam.
I wouldn't say ostentatious. If you see 3 bursts in the air of a beautiful pink shimmering beam, kind of looks like a nice sunset. That's when you'll know that, hey, we'd love for you to come ashore.
Come ashore, okay. Understood. If something goes untoward here, we'll send up perhaps not quite as ostentatious of a flare, but we'll send up some kind of signal.
I mean, the good thing is we can get there pretty fast if we need to. We don't have to rely on these boats.
Are we all going to the island?
I think we could.
Because I have a feeling that the moment we leave this ship, it's the goner.
No, the captain's here. You don't want to say this shit in front of the captain.
He's right here. Just like, I truthfully hope that is not the case. We're prepared, knowing that these creatures have made an attack on us and we're coming to this dangerous area. We know now, especially, to be on guard.
Mm-hmm.
I expect there to be some kind of encounter, which is another reason why I wish to remain on the ship and not see it taken or sunk.
Mm-hmm.
Because
we haven't seen any other ships on this whole journey, have we? I mean, after leaving, like.
Yeah, once you were a day past Verdantia, you haven't seen anything else kind of traveling in this area. That's not particularly uncommon. You're not traveling on a trade route. You're not traveling, in well-traveled water. You made a beeline across the ocean. Like there's no other reason to go to this way other than you're going to Mestika, which is not a journey that most people are doing, or coming here, which is not a journey most people are doing. So there's no trade routes that Hondo or Gord, you'd be well aware. This is outside of territory. In theory, you could have encountered like a pirating vessel. You just didn't roll it on the encounter table.
They call it the Dead Sea because the Marrow ensure that any ship that does come here is a goner, pretty much.
You said the bed sea, like people like to sleep on these waves? Oh, dead.
The
Great.
Marrow know what we are capable of. If we leave this ship, all of us, they will sense an opportunity.
So
Oh.
what? You're volunteering yourself to not go look at
I
the
will
sleepy-
happily stay.
What are you talking about? You're coming with us for the
I
wild
know
cards.
you
We're
need
going to
me.
the
I
shore.
think we need to leave at least one person here who has.
Not of the wild cards.
Yes, we cannot leave these. No offense to you, but you are no match for the man.
Hondo, when they came up, they started doing work. They were all asleep before. It was just poor Han got harpooned off the ship.
If it puts your mind at ease, you're more than welcome to stay aboard through the evening. If you need to do something on the island, it's still not as west now. It's still like early afternoon. You guys have plenty of time in the day still.
Do we know
But if you want to stay
Marrow-
behind, there's no reason not to. It's up to you.
Do we know if Marrow, like, they attacked us in the night, are they adverse to sun at all?
No, you would know that through either asking Hondo or through your time here. They're not necessarily averse to sun, but it just is not as advantageous of an attack than to use their elements and the darkness to attack. You know, they can slip away into a dark ocean, or they can slip away into brilliantly clear blue water.
Yeah. And I mean,
Which
it's
would you
shallow
choose?
here. So Kyle, sorry, you said it's like 70-ish feet?
It's a couple hundred feet from here to the shore. 70 foot
mean-
is the beach is 70 feet before you hit the jungle. That's where
I
I came
understand.
from.
I mean, even if we're... Hondo, I appreciate your sudden concern for
The
Anyone.
well-being of others.
I mean, admittedly, I guess we've spent time with them now. Being like super bored on a ship for a few days. I'm sure we end up chatting with some of them. Eating their food and all that. We could probably... Scott, we have Fern, right?
Yeah, we got my beautiful sweet fern boy.
We have
If Keith as
Fern.
well.
Oh yeah, what are we going to do with Keith? He can't go in a boat.
Keith has to stay on this ship. I mean, probably that's your choice, but I don't know how we're gonna lower him down in a little sit at the battle boat.
And without a polymorph.
True, we could polymorph him though.
But there is like ways to get back here pretty fucking quickly if we need to.
It's not a particularly treacherous journey between here and the shore. It's actually quite beautiful, and the sand itself seems like it's not a rock beach. It doesn't seem like there's significant reef making its way between you and there. It seems like
I am agreeing. Hondo, sleeping on this ship when we do have to sleep is probably a good idea. I do agree with you there, because in the night we do want to make sure that one, we at this point this ship is part of not liability, but it's potentially useful to us still, and the people as well. But two, just being all together with those other people who can also then be a force. And if the Marrow attack the ship, we want to be there because you want to talk to them. So sleeping there is probably a good idea. We probably shouldn't sleep on the beach, but at least just to get out all together on our own and talk about what the fuck we want to do next, away from, well, my baby's crying, away from potentially other ears or fish or whatever the fuck. If you're concerned about being all on the shore together, might not be a bad idea. Are there any ships, Kyle, close to where we are, like the crashed ones, or do we give them a wide berth?
The only ship that is close to you right now, the beached ship, is the one that's on the beach, and it's not a full ship even. It seems like it's long decayed and fallen away, but to utilize it is still a possibility. And there's no full ship as you were traveling through. You saw mostly like masts and pieces that had crashed, stuck, and maybe the rest had pulled away with the tides.
Okay, we go to the beach, but we leave the animals here.
Maybe the flying ones would be handy for this, though, don't you think? Like Fern?
No.
All right, great. I'm going to take Fern. Let's jump in this boat and let's get on this fucking beach already.
I'm just saying they can sense things that humans can't and elves can't, so they can be an advanced warning.
That's why I'm bringing them.
No, we don't need them.
Before we head out, I just quickly whisper to Keith so no one can hear. I'm like, okay, you stay here. But if something at all happens, something sketch, you bust your way out of here, okay? You come find me, okay? You do that. Don't tell anyone, it's our little secret.
Keith just kind of sits and like slumps knowing that he has to stay, but he just kind of nuzzles into you, but seems to respond.
I just look at me and I go, as I'm walking away, remember, bust.
He just like rears himself up.
Stomps a little paw.
Before you go, Wes does kind of put a hand out and say, we have made it this far in 7 days of travel. It would go a long way to show good faith with the crew for the return journey that we kind of square up some of our bill.
Sure.
For the 7 days we've been traveling, it would be about 400 gold. If you're willing to put up now.
Let me just take a look-see at my ledger. Notes, no notes. Imagine we didn't have this gold. Where's the big thing about gems? Get out of here, dice rolls. 400 gold? No problem. I'll hand it to him straight away. We now have 5,090 gold in gems. Yeah, are you okay in gems?
More than that would be lovely.
Just start doling out. I think that's worth this. Just handing over gems from the bag of holding.
Yeah, he is more than happy to take those gems on as you square up. And then, are you guys going to take the ships and go aboard, or go to the island?
Yeah, why don't we take one rowboat ashore, and maybe Fern could fly above, maybe Honda could fly below, but we start making our way to this island.
Sounds good. Then we'll take a break now, and we'll come back when you guys get to the island of Evermeet. Hope you're enjoying this week's episode. If you like what we're doing here, check out the other videos on our YouTube channel, including D&D tips, discussions, recaps, character interviews, and more. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Hexplorers DnD, or join us in the live chat when new episodes premiere on YouTube each Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching. Now back to the episode. So, you guys make it on the rowboats onto the shore of this northernmost island of Evermeet. You can land super easily anywhere alongside, though you are close to this kind of beached, destroyed ship. But the island, as I said earlier, like you can hear the sounds of kind of birds and creatures kind of off in the distance. Nothing immediately kind of catches your attention. What do you guys want to do?
Did you say we're already on the island, or that's what we could do?
I was going to put you on the island just because
Great.
I thought that's where you guys were headed.
Totally. I'm just glad we avoided some sort of terrible shark attack. So that sounds good to me.
Traveling on the boats, and even if Honda, if you wanted to swim, like nothing seems to kind of make any aggressive action. There doesn't seem to be anything in this little cove at the moment. So
I'll summon Fern down. I imagine him like flying over. I'll just have him down beside. Why don't we go check out that like abandoned looking beached boat?
Sure, easy
Yeah,
enough.
let's go.
Try to see what the fuck took down.
Can I have kind of eyes on the jungle, see if I see anything while we're walking along?
Sure, make a perception check, and then whoever wants to lead the charge on investigating the ship, you can make an investigation check.
I mean, I would volunteer Hondo for that only because he knows the most about
Boats.
Well, if you were curious as to like what brought it down, that's a different check than just like looking to see like if there's anything interesting about it.
I would say start to see what was interesting about it, but that's just me.
23 for my jungle scout.
Okay. As you guys make it across on the island, you can kind of land wherever you want, and the beach kind of does like wrap around and kind of curve away as the island curves away to the north. It's like I say, about 70 feet of beach between water and this jungle. As you kind of turn your eyes into the jungle, it looks relatively overgrown with no recent signs of habitation. You can quickly see like there's small like lizards kind of making their way up around on some rocks, and you can see like birds still just like all around. There are, from here, nothing else kind of strikes any note of interest here, other than there doesn't appear to be, there's no obvious like kind of path into the jungle, like there's no trails or routes or anything like that. It seems like it's just natural jungle into the island.
Doesn't look like it's lived, basically, like lived in.
No, not from this point anyways. So if anyone, if you want to identify, what happened to the ship, you can make an investigation check and a separate check just to like look at the ship and see if there's what to learn of the ship. 2 different investigation checks.
What do you want to do?
Anna, do you want to do what did the ship? How did the ship die?
Yeah,
or
let's do it.
just what is there anything cool about it?
Let's do the why it died.
Sure.
I'll do the other one then.
Let's do it. Nice. Was that insight or what was it for Kev's roll?
Both investigations. Just 2
Okay.
different investigations.
Plus 11. 26.
Nice. 26.
As the group of you make your way across the beach, you can make your way to this ship. Both of you, Mary and Honda, with your investigation. Mary, what'd you get?
Sorry, I kept accidentally muting. 14 plus 12, so also 26.
Nice.
Both of you see there is no name to the ship as you do a quick kind of circle around it, whether it's kind of eroded over time or whether it was painted on, and this wood has long lost any kind of sign of that. The wood is heavily deteriorated and been here for some time. Honda, you gather that this ship is easily years, if not like a decade, that this ship has been kind of sitting here. In terms of what brought it down, you can see it's not quite as big as the wave cutter, but it is like it probably would have been a sailing ship, but you can see the back kind of quarter of it has been kind of smashed away, like there is missing its back quarter essentially, and somehow it just kind of managed to get up onto the island here. You imagine that this encounter didn't happen here, and it probably has pushed its way onto the beach, and that's what you gather from what happened to it. But for the most part, you still can see like the kind of the structure of a ship, and there's significant timber and pieces there if you wanted to try and do something with it. No signs of sails or rope or anything like that. Is long gone. Mary, as you're kind of just taking a look around as well, as Honda's kind of identifying the what happened here in the past, you're looking at more what has happened since, and the structure of the ship, as I say, is still kind of intact, but you can see that anything that was inside, like if there was any kind of anything that would have had a drawer or a door or a box of some kind, has been shattered and broken. It has been kind of sifted through, and anything of interest has been taken. And you notice on the hull of the ship, where it's kind of at its highest point, you can see painted or kind of stained in some way this symbol of this 8-armed kind of octopus kraken-like symbol has been painted on.
What color's the paint? As you mute to cough.
It looks like a dark brown reddish kind of color.
God, I hope it's not someone's blood.
Oh, it's definitely
Probably is.
blood. There's no
I'll
remains
scribble
or
that down.
skeleton? Sorry, there's no remains or skeletons or anything? Is there any idea of potentially how long it's been here?
That's a good question.
Hondo kind of got an idea that it could be upwards of like 10 years.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, we know that they like to raid shipwrecks in this area. We don't know how long it might take if we were to do some kind of bait to attract them.
These things are like, I think maybe we should scout out this island a bit more. I could go on Fern and just take a quick little like aerial view. But I mean, these things live underwater. Hondo, you might want to do the same and just see, are there tunnels into this island, like underwater tunnels that these things are using to like navigate or something like that?
I could check around the reef.
That's a great idea. Do you want some backup? Like, don't want to waste a potion. I guess you're screwed, actually. None of us could go with you. I mean, I could actually polymorph someone into a water animal.
But you could just fly above, if something happens, you're right there.
It's true.
Take Allie, take Elena with you, just in case something needs to be hit real hard.
Okay, take Brawl, fly up. Hondo will try and give you some aerial.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
So splitting the party from Alana and Val on Fern in the air. Hondo's going to swim out and kind of investigate the reef. As Mary and Gord, are you guys going to investigate the island, or are you going to just stay on the beach? What is Mary and Gord doing?
I don't know, Brock, what do you think? Like, is there anything? It's
Just
just
stay on the beach.
jungle.
And chill out,
like-
you know?
I'll be probably less chill, but I can monitor from the beach and just try to see if I see any disturbances along the water line, I guess.
Okay. Sure.
I can get there with both of us if I really need to. I just don't want to burn Mira if I don't have to.
To get out to the reef is I mean, you can get to like the edge of it. It's still it'd be a little ways for Mary and Gord to catch up should something happen. Just keep that in mind. Like, it's not 100 feet. It's a ways out to where Hondo and these guys are going to have to go. So just keep that in mind. But if you guys want to hold position on the beach, that's totally fine. As Val and Alana, you guys take to the sky. And Hondo, you dive down and begin swimming through this just crystal clear, beautiful, and it's like kind of even like warm, like tropical water. It's beautiful. It's nice. It's so nice, and it's just freeing to kind of be back in your proper element. You feel like properly at home. And you begin just taking off using your like innate swim speed and your abilities underwater. As Fern and Allie and Val, just go ahead and both of you make a perception check as you guys are going. And Hondo, you just begin swimming.
Not as good, but I still add a lot. 17.
Okay.
I got a 5.
Al, you learned something about the Tritons and about the Marrow and those creatures of the deep. They are very difficult to spot in the water as part of their natural form. Just blends in beautifully with the water, and you lose Hondo very quickly as he just kind of looses himself under the waves. Val, you're able to kind of still pinpoint where Hondo is, and you're able to kind of continue and follow along, and you're just kind of watching as you could see bits and pieces of the reef as Hondo makes his way out. Kev, as you make your way, it's a long ways. I'm going to have you make an athletics check for me. Ooh, not great.
Yeah, and my athletics is +8. 10.
You swim for a good chunk of time, and very quickly are reminded how much of a workout swimming is, even with like your just natural ability and like being so comfortable. It's a significant amount of work, and maybe you all kind of misjudged a little of the distance, that this is further out than you initially thought to get to this reef. So when you arrive, it's a lot of work you just did, and you're kind of a little not out of shape at all. You're in great shape, but that was just a good hard swim. Trying to make time, and you realize that you've been going at this for a good while. You guys spend 45 minutes kind of making your way out over to this area to investigate. As Hondo, you just reached this edge of the reef, and you can see it extends in a wide breadth. You can see that it is beautiful coral, and you can see the different colors. You can see lots of these kind of sea creatures, mostly just fish, making their way up and around the reef, just kind of swimming in small schools. Go ahead and make a perception check, Hondo. Ooh, very good. Natural 19.
Much better.
And I think 12 with my perception, so...
You can see immediately that the reef extends deep, and it just continues down and follows this kind of like sloped topography of this region. And you see the water is so clear that you can see down to where it connects to the beach and then kind of continues and runs along. You can see that the sea floor breaks off at a certain point into a cliff that drops away, and you watch it kind of descend into darkness, and you swim close to that for a moment, keeping around the reef, but you didn't see anything of note at this section. You swim over to this edge of this cliff, and with that perception, you're able to see that the sea floor here kind of breaks off in multiple tiers, and it continuously keeps kind of like going on to long plateaus before ending and breaking, and then falling into more long plateau, and then ending and breaking and continuing. And it does that in this kind of continued tiered structure off well into the distance and into darkness. And for a long stretch of this first tier, and even the second tier, you see this reef continue and stretch out and along and then wrap around. But beyond this first tier and this second tier of it, maybe 200 feet below the surface, maybe 300 feet below the surface, you get your first sign of humanoid life. You can see mer people swimming around a somewhat makeshift society built within the reef. Almost like not a city, it would be way smaller than a city. Like a village is built into the side of this reef on this second tier below the waves. At a distance, with that perception, you can see there's about a dozen creatures of these marrow, these dark, heavy, big, heavy scaled creatures, just swimming around, doing, you're not sure what, just making their way around this reef at a distance of, we'll put you at 200 feet away at this point. You can see where this tier, kind of, you're holding your position at the top of this tier before it breaks off into that lower tier. You can see that there is a village or city or structure within the reef that these marrow are living in.
I can go back to the surface now and report that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, as you swim up, Val, you lose sight of Hondo at a certain point as he dips well beneath the waves. And you and Allie are kind of just holding position where you last saw him. And Hondo, as you swim back up and break the surface, you pass by and see a big sea turtle swims past you. And just out of the corner of your eye, you can see the sign of a shark, maybe a couple hundred feet in this crystal clear water. It doesn't seem to be making its way towards you just yet, but both Valentine and Hondo, you guys catch this shark. It's a couple hundred feet off of Hondo at this point. So just keep that in mind. As Hondo, you break the surface, and you're actually a couple hundred feet away from where Val, you last saw him, but you're able to quickly make that distance between the two of you. and get close.
I'll go to Val, and first thing I'll say is, do you want lunch?
What you're offering. I'm going to go on the earring and be like, let's not yell at each other. I'll be like circling above. I'll go on the earring. Yo, did you see that like shark thing in the water?
Yeah, do you want
You know
lunch?
how... No, I don't want a fucking shark for lunch. You know how Brawley has Keith and I have Fern? What if one of these Marrows has one of these sharks? We already saw they use whales, so just be careful. Did you see anything?
They have a village below the reef. There were a few Marrow there.
You want to try and grab one of them or lure them to the surface? What do you think?
So there are two options. Either I go and try and capture one-on-one, or I have a feeling this shark is connected to at least one of them. So if I were to gut it or behead it, I'm sure it would encourage a few of them to show themselves.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we only have these like water breathing potions. We only have a short amount of them, or the scroll. So we don't want to waste it until we know we're going to be underwater for hours.
So what I can do is I can make myself bait. I will try and get one of them to notice me, and then it can chase me to land or towards you, where you can then attack it from above.
Are you thinking shark or marrow? I like this plan though.
The Marrow.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you might alert them. Like, do they do patrols or anything like that, or are they just chilling?
They were just going around there doing their business. I didn't notice any patrolling per se.
I don't mind the idea of, yeah, you doing that. Mary, you put something in the chat if you want to say it. I'll read. Would the earring work to Mary on the beach?
You guys have made too far of a trek away.
It's your call, Hondo. I mean, the problem is if you go beneath the surface and try and get one of them, and then you said there was like a dozen, they could gang up on you, and then it's lights out.
That's why I'm saying maybe we go for the shark.
I'm down with the shark plan if... Yeah, I mean... we could try.
I will try and bait the shark to come toward the beach. And
why don't you cut yourself with Whisper, get some blood in the water, and then just start swimming towards the beach?
I think so, because I am 92% sure that they are probably using the shark to see.
Okay. All right.
Two things. One, the shark has slowly made its way closer to you, Hondo.
Interesting.
It is edging closer and closer. Two, plan of getting to the beach. You guys just swam here for 45 minutes to an hour. Like it's not like, it's right there. Like you guys had to go a ways, and it's a significant journey. So keep that in mind.
Hondo, we could try and do this plan if you want to start swimming back. By the way, you were really laboring. Are you out of shape? I thought you were supposed to be pretty good in the water.
Just a little. I got to stretch a little. I didn't warm up. But okay, what if you were to airlift me, and then I can drop on top of the shark?
I mean, I was also thinking, but though we could get Mary and Gordo. We could get them in the boat, starting to come back. Mary's jacked. She looks way stronger than you, and she could start rowing, and then Gord could do spooky magic stuff. Like, I still think we do the plan, but maybe you try and... I think we should just get Mary and them here, and then figure out maybe we want to do this plan.
Well, the shark's coming close. I mean...
Well, you could polymorph, right? Like, I could polymorph you right now into anything, or I could polymorph myself. I don't know. Like, Fern has paws. He can't really pick you up.
I don't know, that shark has got within about 40 feet of you.
Do you want me to shoot this shark with Eldritch Blast? Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to let it attack you?
I say do it. Let's provoke the shark. Let's see if maybe it stirs one of them. One of them. Let's do it.
Seeing Leah's stuff in the chat, which is so logical and common sense.
But she wouldn't know, right?
I know. It's just you and me, and this is.
I give you the go ahead. Hit it with the Eldritch Blast.
All right. Do I see it, or is just Hondo seeing it? Do I see a little fin?
From where you guys are up and with your perception, you can see it. Like it's below the surface, but like it does have a very small bit of its fin out. So like you could hit it. You have disadvantage on the shot as it's below the water.
Sure.
But you have 3
I'll
of those
take
blasts.
I'll take like 3 little warning shots at it, basically aiming for it. 3 being like just the one cast of it.
Yep.
Okay, first roll is 15. Disadvantage roll was 3, so it's 13.
13 hits, actually.
Okay, so let me do this a couple more times. 14 and 17, and does a 12 hit?
Just.
Great, that was a 2 roll.
All 3 hit?
So yeah, all 3 hit. Want me to roll some damage?
It's a shark. It's not a...
I just didn't know how below the surface it was.
Just minding its own business.
Hey, leave my
it is
Let
about to
it
come and eat Hondo.
Yeah.
It's definitely giving off the vibes that it's about to hunt and strike into Hondo. However,
25 damage.
okay, all 3 blasts blast into the surface, hit the shark hard, and it makes no immediate sound or anything. But you watch as it dives far and away.
It worked.
Yeah, it could be a scout back to those people though. So why don't we start heading back at least within earring range?
I think.
You okay to swim?
Within the next 15 minutes, we will see these marrow.
Yeah, could be. So let's start heading back. Are you okay to swim, or do you want to jump on this?
I'm good.
Okay.
Throw me another athletics check, Hondo.
This will
I'll
be
fly
better.
closer to the water now, just in case Hondo starts getting a cramp.
Come on.
It's 5 plus. What's your athletics? Aren't you good at this?
8. 13.
You're still
13.
You have like a swim speed. This is something that you are perfect. You're able to do. Like this is if this was Valentine making this check, a 13 probably would not make it for the amount of swimming that you have to do. However, you are built for this. Though it's still tiring, and you're not at the point of feeling exhausted yet. Though you imagine if you had to keep this up for a ton longer, it would become strenuous. But you're fine. You're totally fine. You could do this for another couple hours and still be fine. Someone else would definitely be struggling. But about 45 minutes later, you guys return back to shore. Gord, Mary, have you guys been doing anything in this hour and a half?
Just getting to know each other.
If not, that's totally fine.
Trying to clean all the fucking sea salt off all my shit that I imagine is just like consistently getting crusty and nasty.
Yep.
Look up and see that there's 3 pink beams that just went into the ocean. Great.
You'd
It's
just
always-
catch that. It's a ways off, but you'd catch it.
Fuck, what the fuck are they doing? I don't fucking have anything. Like, I guess just keep looking to see if there's any sign of anyone else ever, like, recently making landing on the beach, but I can't really imagine, so...
Okay. Over the hour and a half, nothing seems to change on the beach. Everything seems quiet, though both of you do hear the sound of some creatures, like slightly larger creatures, kind of shifting and moving in the jungle beyond. Nothing coming out your way. You just hear the sound of like kind of some heavy footfalls of there are creatures who live here. Is kind of the thing you're gathering.
How big is this island?
I don't know how to give that in scale. It's
Like, how many city blocks? Like, is it a lot?
no,
like-
it's not a particularly large island. You could cross it in a number of hours. It
Okay.
wouldn't be it might be a full day to get from point to point.
But only because, like, the jungle's...
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hondo and Valentine, Fern, and Alana return to the cove within range of earring if you wanted to reach out to Mary and Gord, or just to land beside them. Easily enough.
Hey, you guys having fun?
Why were you shooting at the water?
Oh, there's a shark, so Anna and I devised a plan to shoot it.
Did it work?
We it went away. We really missed your like strategic mind out there. It was bad. That's why we came back.
What did we see? Oh, I guess we don't have to RP it, but we saw a bunch of Marrow City in the reef.
Here's exposition.
Marrow, definitely not city. Like, don't think like city size. Think small
Some of them live
village or grouping that are living within the reef. This is only a section of this reef. Like, in theory, the reef is pretty large.
I mean, that bodes well for our potential, see if we can get some information. We know that they raided this ship, so they must have been close. That's closer than I thought, admittedly. So if our plan is to do what Honda was saying and put out a little rowboat or something overnight to try to draw them in to attack us, I feel less bad if they attack us first. Raiding their little village seems cruel.
What if we... Sorry, keep going.
No, that's it.
What if we camped out on shore with our little rowboat, like lure them here as opposed to the big ship, prevent damage to the big ship? I guess we could ask West if that's what they want or if they would rather us helping them there. But we could look like a pretty juicy target near the village. We could, I don't know, try and maybe act like we're shipwrecked here or something like that.
Set a fire on the beach,
Yeah.
Gotta draw them our way. Is there anything else? What are the marrow like? Like, is there anything in our research that we learned that they're attracted to? Like, probably not money or anything shiny or anything like that. Is it literally just like,
well, I think it is
ships for food, or they attacked things to appease the Kraken?
I think it's like trinkets and stuff. Like, that's their god. They make blessings to it. That was like my read on it. They worship it. They're trying to, like, bring more treasure to it.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Like,
treasure includes bodies.
Treasure,
in your mind,
it's true though. The treasure includes basically anything that's aboard a ship is worth taking below the ocean, and the ship itself, even the wreckage of it, is like a tribute as like a conquest. But bodies also serve as food. So
how do we get them to come here and leave the ship alone? Like, is there something we could make a little trail of something? Coins, gems in the water? I don't really want to lose that shit, but it's potential. Goading.
We could ask the ship.
I would, if I was a Marrow and I wanted a bunch of shit, I would probably attack the bigger target, which is the ship, than the bunch of randos on a beach. But
if you were Hondo, you'd attack the weaker target, knowing you could beat it up and take its stuff.
Well, what I'm saying is maybe we have to send the ship away.
That's what I was thinking too. We might want to tell them, get out of here and then come back by morning. But then we already attacked on the sea when we were just like prowling around, so it's not like that would save it.
I know. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, the one thing too is they want to stay where they have the advantage. They'd have the advantage in the water, not so much on the shore, which I mean, like, is good for us because we obviously have an advantage on the shore. But if we go, so our two plans are, Hondo, your two plan potentials were, make a fire on the beach, attract them to the beach, or you originally said, like, take one of those rowboats, you said Val and Alana in a rowboat, and see if we can get them to attack that. Which of the two are we thinking?
I think we'd be better off if they're on the beach.
And they can use this little, like, elemental ability, it seems like, to get on land. That's what they were doing on the deck. Kyle, did West say earlier they can't get any closer because of the reef? They don't want to risk the ship getting too close to the island?
Well, the ship can't get close to the island just because, like, just in terms of depth of the water.
Gotcha.
This is where it's comfortable to anchor. And then the reef was just a challenge in terms of, like, piloting into a comfortable position where you could then row into the island.
We might just want to tell them to be on high alert. Like, they could stay, like, I think we'd have a better bet luring them here on the beach.
We're going to need a really good reason for them then. I think
for them to come to us?
Yep, we need something very tempting.
We have gems. Like, guys, we have so much gems, like, in this thing. We could just spill some gems on this beach. We could pretend like we're drunk. We could, like, be making a ruckus, be pretty obvious that we're, like, a prime target. Meanwhile, we could tell the ship to keep the lights on, get the trebuchets like ready, look pretty menacing and on guard. And we could just act as the dum-dums. Well, really, we've planted people away. You know, Hondo could be hiding in the shadows waiting, that kind of stuff.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, let's just... we can't do anything else right now. We don't have another goal. Our only goal right now
Get more
is
info.
to try to get more info, because we can't make a plan and we can't move forward without more information. So, a secondary question. Oh, I guess Hondo can talk to anything right now.
I have tongues too. I could talk to anything.
Valentine, you have ways of making things do what you say, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we can capture someone and... Oh, I guess Lavender's not here. I know she had something that could make someone think that they were friends. But something like that to try to... If we just, you know, needle them, stab them, we need to try to make sure that they're not going to lie to us. Unfortunately, when I don't speak the language, it's going to be a lot fucking harder for me to tell if something's lying to me or not.
I can influence... Let me just read this. Up to 12 creatures with mass suggestion. It has to work. They have to fail a wisdom save. But yeah, I could, and then it lasts for 24 hours. So we could have some friends if they do come close, but it has to work. And that's my 6, and I only have 1/6. It's a one shot. But it's a good idea.
I mean, 12, you can hit
You
enough
can, in
creatures.
theory, upcast it as well. It doesn't do any...
okay.
I don't know if it does any additional targets, but it probably not. But it could either, when you upcast, it could increase the time that you have control over them, or just gives you, you can use your 7th to do.
Starting at 7th, the duration is 10 days.
Yeah.
That these people like me.
That's fucking cool.
That's pretty dope.
Keep in mind that it's not domination, you know,
No.
it is suggestion. So they're charmed by you specifically. The rest of your friends, if they're being dickheads, they don't fall under that same spell, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So what
So
is
you
it?
guys have to collectively think about it and utilize it properly, but that's a great idea.
I mean, 10 days, Scott, Val, we could get them to guide us.
Would that, like, I just want to clarify there, because like it isn't dominate.
I know.
It is a mass suggestion, but could that suggestion be, hey, listen to me and protect me? Like, I don't want to stretch it too much. Kyle, what do you think? Are you pulling it up just to read?
Pulling it up to read the specifics. Suggest
what I
a
mean,
course of activity limited to a
Yeah.
sentence or 2. Magically influence up to 12 creatures of your choice you can see within range. They can hear and understand you. Creatures that can't be charmed, obviously. The suggestion must be worded in such a manner as to make the course of action sound reasonable. Asking a creature to stab itself, throw itself onto a spear, immolate itself. Yeah, because you can't make it hurt itself, which is standard of all charms. Wisdom.
Telling it to
save.
go against its god is probably going to be a little much. So, like, even if there was a way of, like...
It's unlikely that you would be able to sway, like, them to fight for you.
Change
you
your
know?
loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, unlikely. That would not that would fall under like they're going to hurt themselves, but that would be such a drastic charm. I might ask for like a lot of checks from you to like maintain that more than what the spell technically says. Anyways, that's a specific scenario. If the suggest activity can complete it in a shorter time, the spell ends when the subject finishes what it was asked to do. So keep that in mind in terms of you suggest a course of activity. This is the difference of like it's suggestion versus dominate. Now you're under my control, you'll do what I say. You can also specify conditions that will trigger a special activity during the duration. For example, you might suggest that a group of soldiers give all their money to the first beggar they meet. If the condition isn't met before the spell ends, the activity isn't performed. If you or any of your companions damage a creature affected by the spell ends for that creature. You can, with the 7th level spot, you can make this last for 10 days. So it's going to hinge very much on your wording of the suggestion.
Like we could say something like, protect us while we're underwater, or like protect us while we're around you. I don't know, try and make it last longer.
Well, our whole
protect
point
us
is
for
to
this
get
entire day.
information, though, right? Like, what do we want? We want more information.
So I'm thinking we could do it in tandem, though.
I mean, even something like they like the Kraken. They want the Kraken, obviously, to do. I don't know. They want best for it. If we can try to convince them, what we're trying to look for is in that best interest. My question is, how could we convince them that what we're looking for is in that best interest, so that they would want to give us more information?
We could say something like, help us aid the Kraken by finding a cursed item. Something like trying to convince them that it's helping out their god.
That might be a bit of a stretch too, because why wouldn't they just report to it?
Because we're really cool.
Or go to their own people as well.
Yeah.
I think we could do something like, because I mean, I can do this every day. So just for this one cast, we could just literally treat this as the, hey, let's get some more info. So it could literally be, these guys sneak up on us. We try and say, hey, answer all our questions over the course of this night.
Yeah.
And then with more info, then we could set up, okay, if the villagers are going to come to us, then we could be like, hey, escort us to the treasure room and protect us.
You could even phrase it in the way of like, help us learn more about you and your deity. Like, help us to
kind of nicer.
We want to know more about you. Like, we want to know more about you and your way of life. Like, trying to phrase it in the least aggressive manner possible. More of like, we are just, something like that.
People
might
love
be
me.
The best way to do it. Well,
everywhere I go, making friends.
Well,
keep in mind, it would be, though it says a course of activity limited to a sentence too. It has to be a single course. So I mean, you were kind of saying in tandem, it has to be like a single action or a single directive. But once, and also keep in mind, once that course of activity is completed, the effect ends. So
they know that.
Yeah, if it's answer our questions and you stop asking questions, that's even that one's kind of weird, because like technically you have it up for 24 hours. The hinge of saying for the rest of this night, like Scott, like you kind of phrased it, was like for this evening, answer all of our questions.
Well, that's why you got to be specific. Saying answer our questions means if we don't have questions, but if it's more help us learn about X, help us learn about you and your deity, that's vaguer, right? So there's no like loophole of, oh shit, it's going to end prematurely.
Yeah, so keep the time limit in mind of like how that will, when it's over, the effect ends, and in theory they'll probably go back to try to kill you.
The other thing we have to keep in mind is, how long does tongues last for?
An hour, probably.
I could teach them common in an hour, though. Yeah, it does last an hour. And Hondo, then I guess it wouldn't work. It would be me talking. Okay, guys, I like this plan.
Yeah, just one last thing. From your understanding, some of them didn't seem to, the ones that you've encountered thus far didn't speak common, but they did speak a tongue that Hondo speaks, and it's a tongue of primordial. So it would be, Hondo would be the only one, unless you're using tongues, or if they speak common, if there happens to be some of them in
some sort of crossover.
You're just not sure. They didn't speak common when you encountered them, and you've only encountered them one time. You heard like a dark kind of almost abyssal-like speech at one point, but that could have been on the edge of like casting. And then you did hear more of a Aquan, which is the water version of primordial. So Hondo would be able to communicate in primordial. But just keep that in mind.
So what do we do with the ones who save? We can't attack anybody because it's gonna fuck it up.
You can't attack the ones that saved.
You can't attack the ones who failed.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah. We just kill the ones that saved.
Well, that's not gonna help our case.
But they're compelled to do what the mass suggestion says. I
would probably rule the fact that the suggestion it's a high level spell. It's a high level charm effect. if they fail, and you suggest a proper course of activity, that they're not going to like not protect themselves. They're not dominated, but if they are charmed in a way that they believe you as allies, they shouldn't have any reason to like. They would almost just revert into like protect myself and not aid the people who save. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Okay. It's not a bad idea. Okay, so we're gonna do that on the beach then, Hondo?
I think so. We still do the drunk Feywild beach scene party here with some gems on the shore, but we're hidden. Gord still has that like thing where if he's in shadows, he's like invisible. Hondo is practically invisible anytime he wants to be.
And can cast the spell too.
So Brawley, you, me, Mary, we could just be hanging out, drinking, making a ruckus here. Really, we're drinking H2O. But just looking like a prime target to ambush.
Okay.
So what do we tell the ship?
So I think we go back to the ship and we say, we're going to be looking like a juicy target. We did see 12, like a dozen marrow, maybe a tiny little like village beneath us. So be on high alert. Look like you're ready for a fight so that no one wants to fuck with you. Because last time you looked like there was just 2 guys on watch and one was falling asleep. You're a real easy target. So yeah, get some swords out, just like have the guard ready to rock. But then we'll be the juicy target and hopefully just lure them here. And if they really need help, they could just do like a flare thing like they said earlier.
Go ahead and make, we'll call it a persuasion check for now.
Against Mary and her judgment. Persuasion. Oh man, 17 is a 2.
As you kind of deliver that like instruction to West, kind of in this like informal like chat with him, though you're kind of giving him orders on his ship, he appreciates like what it is you're trying to do. He appreciates that you're giving them the heads up and that you're allowing them like almost like full control of the ship as you're doing like a separate thing. You're just
We're
giving
like drawing attention.
You're drawing
away from
focus. You're drawing the aggro of the encounter, but you want them to be prepared,
ready.
And he just kind of appreciates that and gives you like the confidence that he'll do his best and his men will be prepared.
I figured saving Han helped me in his good books after the whole like you got to protect my crew. So
It's a
I
big
figured I
deal.
was in good standing.
In that case,
Okay.
do we want to jump ahead to night, or are there preparations you guys want to make ahead of time?
Are there any like traps you guys want to set on the beach before we start the plan?
Fire. Like a bonfire.
You can set
Have
a
a
big fire
bonfire.
super easily.
But you could try and do like a
hole.
yeah, you could try and do a
Like,
pit
take-
trap or something.
Yeah, pit trap. Like get some leaves and stuff and cover the hole, so then that way when they fall in, they can't crawl out.
I love it. I love it.
I'm trying
That
to
could be
think
cool.
of something we could set up on the beach if I could build something, although I'm not a trap person, I'm not a ranger, but like something that could potentially get pulled and like spikes or something come up so that it's more difficult to retreat back to the water. Like, you know how like it could come up on an angle, like how
Like this.
yeah,
To like
yeah,
keep them off the shore.
like the spikes people like cops will throw down for tires kind of thing, right? Where in one direction it'll pop the tires, in the other direction it won't. Like something like that.
You could try and carve a bunch of spears or ask if there's any spears on the shore, and then just try and rope them together sturdy enough that you could pull them up or something like that. But it might be a lot. They could just probably walk around it.
Yeah.
It'd be difficult to do without being kind of set behind it. Like in the water, like if you're trying to protect them from going into the water, you basically have to have your trigger set on the shore. So you're going to pull from that direction and it's going to pop up this way. It'd just be a little bit more finicky. Something you could do if you have the right tools. Just
Another idea?
A harder check. The pit trap is something that you guys can all accomplish and cover with a couple of checks as well.
Why don't we do a pit trap? I like that. Why don't we make some literally dummy wild cards? So like get some old cloaks from our bag, and just, try and make some lumpy people who are passed out, has some decoys that we could use while the others are hidden.
Do you have minor illusion, right, Scott?
Yes. It's a little cantrip though. I don't know how long it lasts.
It's pretty short.
Trying to think of
Pretty
anything
small.
else that we could make. Okay, what about, like, if we do a bunch of either hunting or fishing and, like, literally cook a meal over the fire to get the smell wafting out?
My worry there is just we're going to get something from the jungle, too. If you guys heard stuff in the jungle.
That's fair. That's fair. Or
You're also
like
not sure
chum up,
necessarily that the smell of it would travel through the ocean.
No, then I was thinking chum up the water,
Sure.
but there's also sharks, so that might be a bad idea. I mean, not that they'd get up to us on the shore, but they might deter the marrow. Okay, yeah, I'll help Allie with the pit traps.
Okay. In that case,
Hondo, do you want to try and find maybe places to hide? Like if you could pre-scout some places to hide that could give us help. Oh shit, look at this map. Oh
So-
damn.
this is the setup of where the beachhead is and the remains of the ship. And you guys can basically position anything you want along this space here. Obviously, the jungle ahead and the water's where the water is, likely where your enemies will come from. So
How
if
did you had this
I
ready
know.
earlier today?
He knew.
Like, how did you know we were gonna do that?
He knew we'd do it. He's been playing with us over 100 games. Yeah. You put something out like a cool ship. We'll
I thought
definitely
you
come
just
check it
put
out.
this book out as like support because the
Nah.
tables weren't even. But no, you specifically had this page open.
Yep.
So why don't
I mean, you could hide in the ship. That's also cool as fuck.
we could hide in the ship or also use it to our advantage? Kyle, how high are those ship walls?
So you can see the element where it's kind of broken down in that bottom right corner.
Yep.
That is easily stepped over. And then you've got about a 10-foot section that kind of rises up. And from this point on, it's at least 10 feet tall.
Because we could make that the kill box if we wanted to, or the mass suggestion cramming in there. Like we could
Yeah,
try and
what's
get them to
the-
funnel in there.
What's the
Range.
Range?
yeah, not range, the grouping. Is it just
So
anyone who
range-
can hear you within X, or is it like an area that's this wide? Radius.
It is 60 feet with that you can see within range and that can hear and understand you. So not necessarily I don't need a cone or anything like that.
Is tongues concentration?
Let's see.
Or is this concentration? I don't think mass suggestion is concentration.
Mass suggestion is not. Tongues, I think, is.
So you're gonna have to cast that first.
Yes. As soon as I get an inkling, like if Hondo or anyone on the beach spots them, I'll likely cast it because it lasts an hour.
I wonder, Hondo, if there's a place that you could hide. Kind of see how there's a rock on the bottom of the ship there, somewhere under the water, because you'll be able to see them coming first. Potentially, I know it's dark, but
Mhm.
like,
It's cool. idea.
then you could radio Valentine or everyone, and you
think
could
that
also spring up from the water behind them.
Yep.
Where do you want to set this pit trap?
I would say I went to go point on the screen. Allie, let me know what you think. But if we're gonna try to get them in the ship, we could potentially set the pit trap kind of like along the right-hand side of that rock along the beach there.
Here?
I mean, yeah, it can't be too close to the water because if you
Then
dig
they
in
can
sand,
climb
it
out,
just-
especially if the tide comes in. It can.
That's what I mean. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know, you dig in the sand and you get to water. So
Sorry.
Maybe,
Like this.
Go ahead,
spot
Allie.
Here?
maybe like even a little bit further, like just
North?
a tad. Yeah, just a smidge north.
Sure.
and then we also have to decide where we want the campfire and stuff. Like wherever the pit trap is just like, you know, just short of the booty.
Yeah, like there.
We could try and do the party just northwest of that, next to the bush, next to the boat, so that like they have to come up the beach a bit, and then they could fall in that pit trap. Then Hondo could sneak up from behind them or something.
Oh, is there a way that maybe we can like cast an illusion to look like someone is dancing on top of the pit, so then when they go to attack the person, they fall in, but it looks like the person is dancing on the pit or something, or like just hanging out on the pit.
We could even try and do we could definitely do that. Let me just look it up. We could try and do like a dummy on the pit too, like a really light dummy.
Yeah.
And they try and stab that. So minor illusion, 30 feet.
That's concentration.
5-foot cube. It doesn't say concentration.
Oh, nice. So what if, as Kyle draws that pit trap, what if instead it was kind of like where, Kyle, could you put Val? I think that's Val there. Kind of almost more between those two trees, slightly to...
Here.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking where that is now, but maybe slightly to the left and then slightly down, slightly south.
Like by that bush?
What if that is our campfire where everything is spot, and then we move the pit trap to kind of in between him and the water, so that if they go to a straight beeline, they have to go across it. Allie,
Yeah,
what do you
let's
think
do
about
Yeah.
that? Because that just looks like a logical spot for us to rest or whatever, right? We could also have someone, walking along the beach, looking all drunk or whatever, to try to draw them in. I don't know.
Sorry, so this D20 is going to act as your bonfire.
Got it.
So that'll be bonfire, and you want to put the pit trap 10 feet shy of that?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I like that.
Because then if they're moving in a group, I mean, the pit trap's only going to catch the first 4 or 5, but then everyone else is already out of the water. So if Hondo's hiding kind of near that rock, and there's other people hiding in the ship, we can get in behind them, between them and the water.
And then I can be on the other side of the bonfire, facing the water. I can cast minor illusion on that trap, like Allie said. It lasts a minute, it's a cantrip, so I can just keep doing it throughout the night.
We have tents. We can set up a tent. You can be in that.
Yeah, good idea.
I mean, you don't even have to hide.
No, I'm not even thinking I'm going to hide. I'm just going to be waiting.
We just look like we're all asleep.
Yeah.
And then, Hondo, if you want to be in the water there, that's cool. I mean, Gord, wherever there's shadows, Gord would be fine. If it's in the bushes by the ship, wherever you want to be, Gord. Mary, maybe you're the person on the beach doing like the walkabout. And Brawley and I could chill by the fire. I don't know where you want to go, Brawl.
Yeah, I'm good to chill there.
I guess, yeah, you're right, because if the walkabout maybe not be a great idea, because we want them to think that we're asleep and like a super easy target.
Mm-hmm. But you could walk on the shore just to attract their attention, just like occasionally walk there.
Yeah, and then could even be up on the boat or something to try to,
That might not be a bad idea, actually. If you just chilled on top of that boat there, so you could have like a height advantage.
Yeah, I'm trying to look to see if I have anything that's not going to be like a lethal or a...
Kyle, I'm going to spread out like a bunch of gems near the pit, like on the north side of the pit.
Ooh, what if we dug that pit trap hole, right? We're going to have to dig up a bunch of sand. What if we put a bunch of sand in a pile, and then I'm sure we have a chest somewhere, a mini chest, that looks like we fucking just dug up a bunch of fucking treasure.
Oh, this is a cool idea. Sure.
Ooh.
It's
right?
a very
because
cool
we're
idea.
we're already gonna have sand coming out from the pit. So if we make it look like we just dug something up and we just hauled it out and are celebrating.
Could use like the infernal puzzle box or something.
This is like we're creating this giant narrative for all of these.
Oh, it's so worth it. So worth it. Meanwhile, they're just listening in from the water, like, oh wow, they're putting a lot of effort in this.
So there's a little pile of gems and treasures on the north side of the pit.
I'm gonna take out my
Just
lance
refill the
that I
box.
had built.
Yeah, you
Put
just
it
fill
there.
it with sand and then like put like a few things on top. It's like the prop version of.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have is someone going to be in the tent, or are you just setting up tents and sleeping rolls?
I think if Scott and Allie are like pretending like they're sleeping, like it's a target, right?
Yeah. I think we should have a tent like off to the side, but I kind of think I should just be sitting by the fire looking very dozy, but like staring by the water. That way I can see when they come in and I could hit them with a mass suggestion.
Hondo, you were a pirate. What would have drawn you as a pirate to make this an easy target?
What would have drawn me towards this?
Yeah, like what you said you've had, in the past where it looks like no one was there and then you got fooled. Like what else would fool you?
Well, when you see a ship like that beached, you know that there could be abandoned treasure on there because it's too heavy to carry. And even if it is being carried, they're not likely to have gotten very far.
So like,
I like
this,
that.
like the newly dug treasure would probably work. So where you're going to be under the water, Kev?
Yes.
Okay.
Under the water,
hiding somewhere so where they might not see you. So then once they come up, you can come up kind of from behind from the water to try to keep them from retreating back to the water. I can do the same thing. If I'm up in the boat, I can try to sneak along once they come out to get in behind them so that no one's running. So Valentine, when he casts, Kyle, I was thinking more on the south side. So that when he casts, we can get as many people as possible.
Okay, and then Gord and Allie are just kind of going to position themselves around the fire with Val.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pardon me. And we have Fern.
Ferny boy. I think maybe Fern will chill in the shadows of the ship, just waiting in the hull of the ship, I guess.
It also might not hurt to have Fern somewhere where he can see the jungle in case anything decides to come to that direction.
In fairness,
might be able to
Valentine
scare it
has
away.
like telepathic connection to Fern that like if he needed to command Fern to go somewhere, Fern can fly up and out of that super easily.
That's true.
Yeah, so I'll have him there then, and I'll just be like, hey, can you kind of listen more towards the jungle?
Okay, so I need, as this is going to be your setup, I'm going to get Mary and Alana. You guys are taking point on the pit trip. So I would like Alana, can you give me an athletics check with advantage?
Okay. 20.
Nice.
Awesome. You're able to dig a 10-foot pit, 10 by 10, so 10 feet deep, 10 by 10 in size, pardon me. And Mary, I'm going to have you give me, we're just going to call this, oh, you know what? Actually, either Mary or Alana, one of you can give me a survival with advantage.
That'd be you, Allie, because
Yep,
your
I can do
survival's
that.
better than mine.
And this is going to be how you guys can like cover it and make it look natural.
Perfect. Good one.
Wow. Okay, that's great.
Nice.
So,
Guys, I just want to say, of all of our 121 sessions, this is like the most we've ever planned.
This is the best one. This is the best plan we've ever actually had. We made a trap.
To get some information from a bunch of fish people.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's time to butcher it though. Wait for the execution. Honda's gonna stab them before they even get on the beach.
I will gut them if I have to.
so
Reiterate,
takes
the
you
plan is
guys-
lure them in, then hit them with the spell, then see what happens.
It takes you guys a little bit of time to get this pit trap set up. In the meantime, can I get perception from Hondo, Gord, and Valentine?
You got it. $24 for Val.
10 and 12, 22.
Okay. And Gord, perception?
18.
Nice. Good rolls. Good rolls, gang.
Between the three of you, as you're kind of devising the plan, setting up the tents and the bedrolls, getting the fire going, the day creeps over well into 5-6 o'clock. The sun is starting to kind of come down along the horizon, starting to get long in the day, and the bonfire is going. Through the day, you've heard sound of activity in the jungle beyond, but nothing that has ever kind of sparked any sign of fear or worry. It seems just exactly what you would expect of a jungle in an oceanside jungle. just standard creatures and sounds of nature. You do, however, catch sight of close to this point, like 5 or 6, as the sun is starting to go down, it starts to get a little darker. You catch sight of a creature in the water, maybe 200 feet from shore. You just see breaking the waves, like just this much of a creature's kind of head breaks the waves and kind of scans the shoreline and then disappears.
So I'm going to start getting the party going, just pretending like we're drunk. Like, I can't believe we found it. We found Gambino's gold. And then just be celebrating, dancing around a bit. I'm going to take out the lance and be like, an incredible relic from the past. Look at these gems.
Alana and Gorge, do you play into this kind of charade?
Yeah, I'll just kind of be like, Yar, we found his booty. I can't believe it after all these years. Ah.
Really good.
Oh my
Really
God, I
good.
love you, Alex.
Perfect.
So impressive.
Can I get deception checks or performance, your choice?
Ooh, okay.
Likely
Thank you.
6 of 1.
Oh
What
my
are you
God.
doing?
I'm going to get from Gord, from Val, and from Allie individually.
Fuck. Why is
Okay,
it so
hold
low?
I'm going to get stealth from Mary and Hondo, who had, at this point, Hondo, you've tucked away into the waves. Mary, you've climbed up aboard the southern section of that ship.
Raleigh, what did you do? What did you do?
Allie,
Is it a 1? What did you get?
So both of my deception and performance are -1.
Mm.
I rolled a 1, so
Mm.
that's a 0.
That's a big goose egg.
Yikes.
I rolled 16.
Nice.
Playing into the charade. And Val?
I rolled 18.
Ooh, okay. The natural 1
Hurts. It hurts.
and ultimate 0 is going to balance out 2 really good scores. So we'll see what happens there in a sec.
Oh no.
As Hondo, you have advantage on your stealth check. If you want to go ahead and roll a second time, I didn't catch if you did.
First roll was 14.
Okay.
rolled
So you
19.
We're all gonna get a 20, baby. Come on, get a 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a 20.
take that 14.
29 total.
29 total and Mary total.
19. I
19.
rolled low.
Is still a pretty good roll. As you guys take your positions, feeling confident in the plan and watching your fools on the beach, just doing their thing. 10 minutes passes past the point where you saw this creature. 15, 20, 30 minutes. And those of you at the fire, you've lost that luster of like, we're making a big show of this. And you're starting to just kind of consider like, you know, perhaps it was a scout and perhaps it's going to take place a little later. So you start to kind of wind back just ever so slightly, but still keeping it up. And you watch as the horizon, the sun dips just below. You get that last little band of light. And on it, you can just see a faint fog begin to roll across the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And you wait. Your fire is still a big bonfire. You made a point of saying it was a big bonfire using some of the wood from the ship and from the jungle itself. Around the fire, you know, you don't feel the effect of the fog. You don't see any issues. However, trying to see from beach, from fire off to like where Hondo and Mary have taken their cover, it's definitely gotten heavily obscured. You're having difficulty even seeing to the edge of the water as the fog begins to roll in and is heavy across the island.
Was there fog last time the Marrow attacked us?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's magic.
An hour past your point of seeing that creature, the sun officially has set, darkness has fallen, and the fog is heavy. Everyone, go ahead and make a perception check at disadvantage for me.
Okay. Come on, dice rolls.
Fucked me.
Okay. And really good. Ooh, Gordo, clutch rolls. I got 24 with disadvantage.
Oh, wow.
19.
Got a 8.
I got a 9.
Okay. Hondo?
Okay, perception.
Yeah, with disadvantage though.
Oh, okay. So, then
11 for the first one.
11 for the second one.
Cool. So what do you add?
Plus 12, 23.
Oh, great.
I was gonna say Hondo's looking underwater, so the fog wouldn't bother him, but it's dark.
It's still dark, so unfortunately it still is a disadvantage. Mary, what did you roll? You rolled not great, right?
Below a 10. I rolled a 2 on the dice.
The fog has definitely kind of hurt your position here. And unfortunately, like as you're prepared and ready for this, you guys are very confident in the plan. You still have a fine line of sight on your friends, but the shoreline has become a mess and it is covered in fog, and it's going to be very difficult to see. You're going to be reacting rather than acting.
I would say if I can see, oh well, I can't see shit. This is useless. I'd probably just move on slightly north on the ship so that I'm more in line with where the pit trap is, because I know I'm not going to be able to do anything on the shore anyway.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, just because I know that's not going to be helpful.
That's fine. Hondo, from the water, you feel like a temperature shift. And you can feel like the something in the waves has kind of shifted and changed. And Val and Gord, though you can't quite see thus far, you hear the sound of waves, kind of something breaking the waves on the shoreline. You can't quite make out just yet. You can just faintly see what looks like the outline of figures moving forward.
And I start to, I'll just be like pretending I'm like dozing off, but I'll try and minor illusion, like lavender coming out of the tent and just standing or sitting on the pit trap.
Yeah, absolutely. You send, I'm going to mark it with a D4. Mark it with a D4, and you watch as these like faint shapes break through as you guys are kind of playing up the shard. Unfortunately, Allie, you don't quite make them out just yet. But you make out 4 figures begin walking across the shore, and as you have this illusion kind of take position, they rush forward. They rush forward, and you hear, and actually you all see as they get close enough, 2 of these large marrow creatures are kind of slithering forward on these kind of like merpeople tails, and you see the harpoons raised. One strikes down to Lavender just as it tumbles down into the pit trap. The other is coming up behind and like skids and stops short and tumbles head over heels into the pit trap as well. 2 of them have fallen on top of one another within this pit trap. The 2 behind manage to stop. As Hondo, you feel around you the water just shifts and almost like pulls you for a minute, and you watch as 2 creatures kind of rise up out of the water, seemingly not detecting you, and rise up out of the water past this kind of rock and are making their way quietly across the island. You would be able to make an attack against them if you wanted to try and strike out with advantage from your hidden position. Mary, unfortunately, you do not get a sight on these creatures thus far. So Hondo, you get this action if you want to take it, or you can hold, knowing the rest of this plan.
Do I have a chance to like message to them saying?
If you want to say,
if I do that, would I lose the advantage?
You would lose the attack. You get the option of either make a surprise attack against whatever this creature is, or stay your hand and alert or do something else.
Did he hear what happened on the beach?
It's kind of happening simultaneously.
Okay.
So just before, to be clear, we've already seen them fall into the ditch, and we've seen two others on the.
It's happening all at the same time. You're kind of rising from the water as you feel this creature to your right rise up, and you don't quite even make out the visual of it, but you can feel it. So you're kind of rising from your sneaking position, and either could have a huge hit on this creature with your sneak attack and advantage on the strike, or you can say that there's more going on. You can alert the rest of your friends, or do something else. You have an action.
One more thing. If I do message, will they hear me, and like, will I lose my stealth?
It's possible.
Damn.
It's possible. You're not sure. Depends on how quietly you can do this.
Okay, I just fear that attacking them will set things off too early, and I'd rather let it play out a little bit more.
Okay.
So I'm going to message them.
Okay. What do you say?
Cool.
Wow, very reasonable thought line from Under the Blue.
So you can never predict what Hondo's going to do.
I'm going to be very. More just came out of the water. Two more just came out of the water with a whisper.
Okay. Make a stealth check, still at advantage.
Come on, baby.
So 7 and 12, and my stealth is 15.
Okay.
So
you feel
27.
You feel pretty confident that you very quietly are able to alert the rest of your friends. Everyone else, you hear over your hearing. Two more came out, seemingly from Hondo's position. As they kind of climb out of the water, the two fall into the pit trap, seemingly are trapped. The other two are kind of surprised into turning around and seeing that they have been had. Val and Gord, with your perceptions, you can see there's one other creature hanging back, standing a little taller. It's still shrouded in fog. But let's all roll initiative, and you guys get a surprise round to do what you want to do.
Awesome. Raleigh, you get advantage on initiative now.
Yeah, I do.
So Scott, you need two actions, right? You need tongues, and then you need. Okay.
Motherfuck.
Right. We really needed you to roll high initiative.
We get a surprise round, though.
Hey, do you get to inspire yourself on initiative?
I could, but
Ability check.
it was a nat 1, so I just feel like I should just accept the fate of it.
That sucks. I mean, we could, as our options, talking this out, we could play into this of like, oh no, look, you're attacking us.
That's what I'm thinking almost.
Shit. Like, let them come up more, let them get a little bit closer to us and draw them towards us, and then let Val get his 2 actions off, and then it's like, fuckers, you're all over here now.
Okay.
I also rolled trash, Scott. Like, not as bad as a 1, but I did not roll well.
It might be advantageous for me to be lower in the initiative for this, so I can see how it plays out.
It gives them more time to come up on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to roll my initiative, so 2 seconds. Bruck, if you are back, I don't know if you wrote that back when you before or after you rolled initiative. So if you haven't rolled initiative,
I will do that now.
thank you. You guys, 6. Great. And he rolled. Okay, so 25 to 20.
21.
Hondo. 20 to 15. Okay, 15 to 10.
14.
Oh, sorry, I got 15. I thought it was 14, but it's 15 with.
Okay. Valentine.
7.
Okay. And Gord, what'd you say you roll? 6?
Yeah.
You got it. So you guys get a surprise round regardless. So, Hondo, as you rise from the water, you can see, and you alert the rest of the crew. You see the 2 creatures who rose out of the water are water themselves. You see they are kind of shifting, like creatures made of water, standing just before you, about 10 feet before you. These 2 creatures, I made a mistake before. The marrow creatures are large sized. So they take up 2 by 2 squares. So just keep that in mind, that they have a little bit further range and distance. They're not standard medium-sized creatures. Keep that in mind if that makes a difference to any of you. So there's these 2 here, and then Val and Gord, you're the only ones who know there's another creature just still in the surf that you haven't quite made out yet. No one else knows of this creature here yet, just the 2 of Valentine and Gord.
He looked foggy, right? That was
He's
that
still
one?
he's hanging back and yeah, it's seemingly taller than the others.
Cool.
Kyle, how far up the beach does the fog go
It's everywhere.
for visual?
The fog, consider fog across the board.
Oh, the whole board. So everything is like potentially at range going to be a disadvantage.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Hondo, you are first.
Okay. So I see these 2, and I'm behind this ship, right?
Yeah, you are currently in a perfectly stealthy position, tucked in between the there's like that rock there on the south and then the ship on the left. These 2 have kind of risen up from the water onto the rock, so they're technically like 5 feet above you, but you have no problem climbing up to strike at them if you wanted to get in melee or throw.
Okay. One question, I think I probably asked this before. If I use Thunder Wave, do they get electrocuted? Because they're water.
Well, no, it's thunder damage.
Lightning. That's more like the sonic of it.
Thunder and lightning are different types of damage.
Damn.
Okay, that is a cool idea. That was cool.
So I will come up on them and attack.
This puts you in melee of either of them. So, you want to attack the left or right?
Let's go with the left. I will try and slit his throat.
You have advantage on the strike as you are hidden. So go ahead and make your attack.
All right.
Okay, you have advantage to see if you can get that crit, but that's going to hit. No crit, but you still hit. As you rise up, and Hondo, you go to grab and bring your blade across the throat, and your hand plunges into water, and your blade slices through water. These creatures are elemental water, so no throat to slit, unfortunately, but it still does feel the pierce of whisper, and you see it kind of strike through and begin to kind of spike, and it makes this kind of this scream in this like watery, like gargling voice. Go ahead and roll damage.
Do I get the sneak, right?
You get full sneak, absolutely.
All right. So I always have to. My sneak is 66. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I get 3d4. 1, 2, 3. That's my damage.
29. Okay.
Plus 8.
So 37. Yeah, it just kind of like lets loose this gargling kind of like yelp as your attack. You strike true. It's still standing. You have a bonus.
With my bonus, could I use frostbite to stab the other one next to it?
Absolutely. Go ahead and make your attack.
See if I can.
And I'll give you advantage on this one as well because you had properly stealthed and got up on both these guys.
Luckily, I get advantage.
Okay. Yeah, that'll definitely hit.
And do I get sneak on this one too?
No, you can only get the sneak on once per round, but you still manage to deal damage to these guys.
So with frostbite, it's 2d6 plus 5. So that's not great.
6 and 5 is 11. Okay. Where you as you go to slit the throat of the one and then swirl with frostbite in the other hand and you strike. You watch where you strike this right creature, where frostbite dealt that cold damage. You watch the water freeze around, and you watch its kind of midsection where you strike true. It like slows it, and you see like a chunk of ice kind of take form of some of its watery form, and you see it slowed, seemingly reducing its speed significantly as you hit with cold.
This is good.
Oh,
There you go. Some of that little bit of Pokemon knowledge coming through.
there you go. That's right.
Yeah.
That's your action, bonus action. Do you want to move or do you want to stay there?
I can move without them engaging me, right?
At this point, you've like kind of revealed your position, so they could attack of opportunity if you moved away. But you can risk it if you want. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think I'll stay.
You got it. That takes us to Mary with his surprise round.
I can't see where I am.
You're in the ship.
Where's my mini?
In the ship.
Oh, I see. Sorry. I from the angle, that literally looks like it's part of the graphic.
Yeah.
I will, thinking that, okay, we're going to go along with the ruse. I want to draw them closer. How far? Can I see the two guys on the beach? Like, I know they're there.
You can see the one closest. The other would be let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You would currently have disadvantage on both, but you can see them just barely.
It's 25 feet?
Yes.
Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get up to the closer dude. Like, get up on him. Other side, like more towards close to, like, without falling in the pit trap, but like that side. I'm going to take a swipe at him.
Hmm?
Actually not that great.
It's probably going to hit. These guys are not particularly well armored.
Okay. Yeah, it's like an 18.
Hits.
Actually, it's more than that, but whatever. Okay, I'm going to use a goading attack. Oh shit, I never said that I slept. Let me just check the long rest button.
You guys have all definitely slept at this point.
Yeah. And I need to put my armor back on. Okay, I'm going to use a goading attack, which, like, he's supposed to make a wisdom... Oh, make a wisdom save, or does it just happen? Let me double check.
I don't know.
It's a whiz save.
Natural 5 is going to be a fail.
Yeah. Basically, it's supposed to make him attack me instead of my friends.
Okay.
Otherwise, they have disadvantage on attacking people who aren't me. But basically, I want to do that. If I can get around to try to hit the other guy too with my second attack.
Okay.
Okay. That one definitely hits. I'll burn a goading on him too. They get extra damage. I don't want to kill them though.
Yeah, how much damage was on the first one, sorry?
I haven't rolled it yet.
Oh, okay.
What is my D10? There it is. Oh, good. Low damage. That's actually what I want for the first time. 13 points on the first one.
Okay.
I'm also not going to be sneaky about this. Like, I don't want sneak attack. I want them to know I'm there. And like, I'm just like running out to defend my friends that I can see them attacking.
Yeah, you guys get the drop on them 100% regardless. So basically, whatever you want to do here, go nuts.
Okay, 14 points in the second guy.
You got it.
And then I'm going to use my bonus action to move around the pit trap, like I'm not going to disengage. I'm just going to get as far towards Valentine as I can. The idea of being like goading of like, attack me and then I'm going to fucking run. Like they might try to chase me.
Then I'll say you go. You get
I'll
running.
like hop over the chunk of the pit trap. I'm sure they've seen that it collapsed in, so I don't think I can trick them to falling into that. But
Yeah, like it's almost full with these two massive creatures in it.
yeah, I'm not even going to use my third attack. Like it's just looking like I'm panicked and hitting them, and then panicked running towards where everyone else is. And
They are both
hopefully that goading will try to get them to come closer towards Valentine.
Well, they both are going to try and take a strike out at you as you
fine.
you run off. I'll say they would just use their claws for this. Natural 20
Ooh.
and only a 12 on the other.
Yeah, that one won't hit. I have my armor on this time, fuckers. You can't hurt me as easily. Can't do 100
Sorry,
points
pal.
in 2 rounds.
No, they don't do quite as much damage. They do deal 12 points of slashing damage, though the one that does strike true manages to dig in deep with its claw as it is just kind of flailing, and it actually just kind of catches you almost accidentally, but it does pretty well.
Cool. That's my turn.
Okay. At the end of your turn takes us to Alana.
Okay. I'm going to rage first of all.
You got it.
And then I'm just gonna kind of go around the pit and then charge at the one guy that is the closest.
You got it.
And attack him.
You rush right up to him as Mary just kind of stabs and rushes past him. You rush forward, kind of shaking free this kind of illusion of you being like sitting on the beach, like almost falling asleep, and you break into a full like rage and rush with your hammer, taking them by surprise. Go ahead and roll your attacks.
Okay. 24 to hit.
Yep, 100%.
Okay. Uh, 18 damage.
Okay. He looks like knocked, but still conscious.
Okay.
That's your first attack.
Okay. I'll attack him again. Does he look like if I hit him again, like will he go down?
You strike with this first attack, and after Mary had already kind of left like a good gash along the side, this guy looks like you possibly could knock him in this. He's already kind of like bleeding and already looking like wanting to pull away.
Okay.
If
Is there
you
a way I
want,
could?
just to keep this on the table for anybody, you can do non-lethal damage. You can choose to say, I'm going to hit, but I don't want to kill him. I want to do non-lethal, so it would knock him out.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that then. I'll just kind of like enough to kind of either knock him out or just leave him down so that he can't get back up.
Absolutely.
But
So
not
go ahead.
dead.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So non-lethally.
Non-lethally.
Second attack.
21 to hit.
Definitely hits. Roll damage.
$22 damage.
Yeah, absolutely. After the first strike, you almost feel a little bit of pity as this creature is just like rocked, and without even using like the hammer, you use the butt end of your maul, like the pommel, and you just kind of strike up with an uppercut, and he just like clocks out and falls face first into the sand.
Nice. Good.
unconscious.
We're gonna have to revive that guy.
Yep.
We'll get him later.
We'll get him.
That is, that's actually your full turn because you use your bonus action to rage.
Yep. Cool.
So that's everything for Allie. Valentine, what do you?
I'm gonna activate tongues on myself.
You cast tongues, okay?
I'll like
That's a
touch Ethereus.
concentration.
Cast tongues. That's an action, so I really don't think for bonus I'm gonna do anything. Maybe just glance towards that shore. I know that would be an action. Yeah, I'll just stand up and maybe just go a bit towards that bush on the left and just be like,
Here?
oh no, oh no. That's it.
You got it. Yeah, as you do, you can still just faintly make out a creature over
Yeah.
here. Is that going to end your turn?
Yes.
Okay. At the end of your turn, this creature that you spotted, who's kind of rising above the others, seemingly not surprised by this encounter.
Mm.
You watch as they move forward, and you can see another one of those tentacle, like bearing priest figures. And they stand tall as they ride atop a 10-foot giant crab.
Is that a giant crustacean?
Yes, it is.
Oh, boy.
And you hear these massive pincers clacking and clacking as it makes its way forward. They get a turn in this round.
Oh boy.
And they are going to... You hear that same deep, dark speech begin to utter forth from this monster as he just lets loose the voice of the Kraken in this horrid, like, monstrous howl that shakes the trees. And you feel the wind change direction. You hear the waves in the ocean rise into action. I need everyone to make a charisma saving throw for me.
Oh boy.
I'll give you advantage on it because you were prepared for this encounter.
Okay.
So advantage, charisma saving, press.
Oh, thank God.
21 for Val.
Is this a success?
12.
That is unfortunately a failure.
Gordo.
I rolled an 18 and a 19.
Nice.
That'll be a
For a
success.
fucking charisma? Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I rolled
I-
a 2 and a 13.
So what's your total on save?
17.
17
Nice.
succeeds. Allie?
I rolled a natural 20, but my charisma's -1, so it's 19.
That is still a great save.
That was your charisma -1.
I
Oh,
have
so
no
nice.
idea. She tries.
It's the sweetest thing.
Tries.
Everyone
I know.
loves Alana.
You guys are prepared, though maybe not prepared for this particular creature and that sound to emanate across this beach. You maybe thought more of these marrow creatures, not something powerful. And yet, Gord, there's just a hint of that, like, abyssal, like, demonic sound within the voice that just gives you these kind of dark memories of Orcus and of the abyss. And you are considered frightened right now.
That tracks. You've been through a lot with that shit.
Yeah. He is going to let the old crab rush forward. Crabby crab.
Oh boy.
Gets up to Mary. Oh, it's going to reach. Gets up to Mary and is going to reach out with his little crabby claw. That is a 16 to hit Mary, which I think misses. I see she is not here right now. And second strike, which is a natural 20.
Oof, that'll do.
My Vox Machina die. Mary is grappled and lifted from her feet by this
Okay.
massive claw.
I'll write in the chat.
And suffers 28 points of bludgeoning. 32 points of bludgeoning damage as she is grappled by the claw. That ends its turn and continues us in the order to Gord.
So is he frightened by the guy or the crab?
He's frightened by this guy.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Brock.
I'm gonna move up to the guy in front of me.
Unfortunately, you
And hit
can't
him with.
You can't move south because you are frightened of this guy and you can't move closer to him.
Oh, that's Gord up there.
Sorry, I meant the. Is there another guy like beside the crab thing?
That Mary is beside the crab. So from Balor's perspective, you got Mary here, Valentine here, you here. But you can't move south of any of this. You can't get in melee of anybody while this guy is here. You can move left or right, and you can move up into the jungle, or you can do something at range.
I'll Eldritch Blast that guy.
You
Fuck
got it.
yeah.
I'm just double checking if you have disadvantage on the attack. I believe so.
Oh.
No, you don't. You are good. Just on ability checks and attack rolls. Yes, sorry.
If it's fear, yeah.
Yeah, so you have disadvantage on this attack roll, on each of these attack rolls with the Eldritch Blast, but still, go ahead.
Nice.
I mean, would have had that
Forgot.
anyway with the.
Yeah.
First roll's 20.
Okay, that'll hit. Leah,
17.
you took some damage there, by the way. 17
Yep.
just hits.
Yes,
Nice.
nice. In the chat, we're good.
2 hits against you.
How many times should I do this? 4?
You got one more.
Just one more.
$11.
11 is going to miss, so roll 2 d10s, and you get those hit on him.
10
Ooh.
and 5.
Okay, 15. That's awesome. As you
How much
manage
damage did I take?
you didn't take any damage. It was just a fear effect.
Oh,
You can't move closer. If you wanted to, you can move to the left or right or up into the jungle, or you can just stay there. What do you want to do movement-wise?
I'm gonna stay there. I like
You-
it.
You got it. At the end of your turn, go ahead and make another charisma save. See if you can shake this fear.
12.
12, unfortunately, is a failure. You're still frightened of this creature. That'll end Gord's turn. Take us to the initiative proper with Hondo, and the enemies get to act this turn.
Alright. So
Hondo, you're still in melee with both of these
Yep.
water elemental creatures.
well, now that I know, I'm going to use Frostbite on the one on the left first.
You got it. Go ahead and make your attack. Straight roll this time.
Do I get advantage?
You do not get advantage on this, unfortunately. However, give me the total with that, because these creatures are not particularly hard to hit.
Plus 10, so that's 14.
14 just hits. 14 is their AC. So
Wait.
you do not get sneak attack on this, as you are not the only creature in melee with it. They're kind of engaged together. So just straight D6s for your sword.
Okay, so that's 4 plus 5.
You get it? So 9 points. You strike hard, and you watch the same thing happen. The ice kind of crystallizes over their form, and they are slowed.
Nice.
So, okay, so now if I, for my bonus, were to use Frostbite on the one that I already hit and froze, would I get extra freezing?
No, it can only be frozen so much per turn.
Okay,
So it's reduced by 20 feet to the end of its turn.
okay. So now I'll use my bonus with Whisper then, I guess, and hit the other one.
You got it. Go ahead. Straight roll to attack. Yeah, that'll
Nice.
definitely hit. 19 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage. Still, unfortunately, no sneak, as I said there. You're not 1v1ing.
So it's 3d4. Oh, not the best.
5 plus
Plus
8.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. This one's still having that frozen ice still in it. As you strike, you watch as that ice kind of shatters and begins to melt away. As this one didn't take cold damage this turn, it seems like it'll be slowed until the end of its next turn, which is coming up. But after that, obviously, it's going to be fine. So that's your action and bonus action. Do you want to move or do you want to stay there?
I will stay.
You got it. That takes us to the water elementals. They. The one is going to. The one that is the freezing is kind of slowly drifting away from. Turns to you, and just like rises up like a wave and crashes down and encompasses you. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Is there a disadvantage?
Nope. Just strength saving throw straight. Ooh, that's great. Plus your strength save.
My strength save is 3, so 20.
Nice.
It rises up and attempts to completely surround you within it. Though the water isn't exactly going to be a problem for you, you can breathe water. It seems like it will like constrict you to death, and as it kind of does, the wave pushes you back, and it actually pushes you back 5 feet. You manage to avoid getting caught in the wave, but you go ahead and make an acrobatics check for me. If you roll lower than a 15, you fall into the water behind you as you're kind of up on this rock. Plus your acrobatics, it's a 4.
Acrobatics check, you said?
Yeah.
Plus 10?
14, no, I said 15. So unfortunately you fall prone into the water as you slip off this rock to kind of catch away from this creature. That's the end of its attack. With you out of the way there. This one can't quite overwhelm Allie because you slowed it, but it can still make it into punch her with big watery fists.
Rude.
So it's going to make 2 strikes. Wow, a natural 20
Oh, that hits.
and a 10.
Oh, okay, that does.
So 1 miss.
It's the end of the wild cards, guys.
That's like 3 natural 20s I've rolled
I
tonight.
know.
Oh,
We were very
trying to go
confident.
easy on them.
Oh wow. 28 points of bludgeoning damage that is
Okay.
reduced to 14 because you are raging.
Thank God I did.
So that is its round of attacks as it just strikes true with 1 as you're kind of a little blindsided, taken aback. But then you manage to kind of dodge below the second. That's going to end their turn. Take us to Medi. You are currently grappled by a giant crab.
Yeah. I'm going to. This worked with the giant metal scorpions, so I'm going to try it again. I'm going to hit the claw and just go, put me the fuck down! And I'm going to use disarming attack to get it to drop me.
Okay.
Or try at least. 20 something. 24.
Yeah,
To
that'll hit. And what's
It's
the strength save?
It's a strength save, yeah.
Okay.
Blowing through my maneuvers.
A 20 total.
Ooh, it's 19.
This thing seems like it's a hulking giant crab. It seems like it's actually pretty strong. So not that is impossible, but is a good chance at it.
Yeah, I'm the only one in combat with it, right?
Yes.
So no sink. Oh, bad damage. On this thing, I don't give a shit if I beat the shit out of it. 17 points of damage on the first one.
17 points, you got it.
Second one, I'm not gonna blow another maneuver. I don't have that many of them. Ooh, the second one might not hit. That's 16 total.
16 does not hit. As you just try and bring the blade down again on the same claw, you hit it, but it just happens to kind of glance off the side of its exterior.
Natural armor.
Yeah.
Okay, third attack, natural 19.
That'll hit for sure.
Don't use this D10 again. 16 points of damage.
Okie dokie.
Can I use my bonus action to use Eye for Detail?
Sure.
And try to see, because I know there's still fog and shit, and I just want to get a good lay of where everyone is to see if I have to try to draw anyone closer for Valentine.
Sure. Sounds good.
Ooh, natural 18 plus 6. What is that? 23, 24?
You do still have disadvantage on this from the
Oh,
fog.
right. 19 total.
Okay, 19 is still great. With that, as you're kind of raised up by the crab in its claw, you're given a slightly elevated perspective. You do see the tentacled kind of priest figure down here now. And you can see, you can make out two, it's difficult to make out exactly what they are, but you can make out the two water elementals. You're just not sure exactly what it is that they are. These kind of like, it's hard, they look humanoid at the very least, but almost like invisible right now. But you can still manage to make out two of them, and you can see all combatants on the field.
All right. Let me just do some counting. I can't really see the squares. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Everyone's probably in Val's range. I'm just going to shout out, better now than never. Get this thing off me. And that's it. That's okay. Because I can't go anywhere. I didn't want to use my action to like break free.
Yeah, that'll be the end of your turn then.
Yep.
As Alana, we're to you. Val, you're on deck.
Hell
Alright.
yeah.
I hear that, and I run over to the crab.
Okay. You are in combat with this guy. You will take an attack of opportunity if you leave.
That's okay. I'm hoping I can just take it.
He is going to try and swipe at you with a little punchy punch.
Okay.
Nope, natural 4. Continue as you were.
Okay. So that is 20 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit the crab.
Okay. Okay. $21 damage.
Okay. You bring your hammer down on its back to avoid hitting Mary, and you see it's the back of its like natural armor crack in as you slam in hard. Go ahead with your second attack.
18 to hit.
That'll hit.
And 20 to hit.
20 damage or 20 to hit?
20 damage, sorry.
20 damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that, you bring the hammer sweeping up and around, and you just slice and smash through its armor and its just flesh interior into the sand below, and the creature slams, dropping Mary where she stands.
I imagine like the muscle memory. It's like it's where you have a lock jaw, but with a crab arm, and I still have a fucking crab arm around my waist.
I'll just also yell towards Hondo and be like, "This is dinner."
Hondo, you just make that as you are like thrust under the waist. Allie, that's your action. And some of your move is at the end of your turn.
Yeah, I'll just kind of turn and face the direction of the other guy and just kind of death stare him to be like, "I'm coming for you next, buddy."
That is going to end your turn and take us to Valentine.
I'm going to rush up close to where Mary is, just to get a little closer to the guy on the shore.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to cast Mass Suggestion.
Okay.
and it's normal 6th level.
So you are within range of 2 water elementals, all 3 conscious marrow, even though 2 of them are in the trap, and the priest figure. This will not work on the marrow who is unconscious, as they are unconscious. They can't hear you, so keep that in mind. But this will be, I'm going to roll for the water elementals, then I'll roll for the marrow, and then I'll roll for the priest. So, elementals. It's a wisdom save.
Yes.
Wisdom, where's water?
Wiz 18.
Fail.
Okay, that's good for the water.
Water, the marrow who is out of the water, or out of the trap, I should say. Fail. The 2 marrow in the trap. Wow, they actually succeed.
Okay, that's all right. They're in the trap.
18's on the die for both, with no save.
Damn.
And finally,
Big Daddy.
the priest. A 16.
Nothing he adds?
Well, that's 8 on the die plus 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was very, very close, and you managed to beat him, and you have managed to charm. And I'm going to mark them as charm.
Guys, did we execute a plan that
Well,
worked?
let's just see. I can still fuck this up. I
He
have to tell
hasn't
them what to say.
given the words yet. So charmed, and these 2 technically say poison, so you can't know that. Charmed. What is the suggestion, issue with your magically enhanced words?
So, like, holding on to Aetherius for the tongue's power, I'll like slam it in the sand, and then I'll call out in tongues to their all languages, please talk peacefully with us until we understand all we need to know about worshiping the mighty Kraken.
Please. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. Please talk peacefully
With us?
With us until we understand all there is to know about worshiping the mighty Kraken.
That's right.
I think you said all we need to know. So that
It was a
it's
need,
under-
yeah, but
So what? But I mean, the way you phrased it sounds like it's up to us of when we're like, yes, we're good, we know everything.
Yeah. That
Very well
is-
phrased.
That's a course
that's
of
what I've been
activity.
spending on for the last hour.
That's a course of activity that doesn't have a direct end point. So I would say that unless something happens to end this prematurely, they have no reason to save for 24 hours unless someone was to say, yeah, that's all we need to know. In which
Exactly.
case,
No one say, I totally understand.
So we know because I'm assuming Valentine would have told us if we attack them or make any sudden moves.
if you or
Yeah.
any of your companions damage one of the creatures who is affected by the spell ends for that creature.
For that creature. Okay. So did everyone hear what Val said? Was it loud enough?
I think I repeated it and he said it. I think you mean in
I think I
game
shouted
or
it.
as players?
In game, in game, so that like we know.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
wait, it's good. Everyone stop. Like,
It would
well,
be a full
but
shout.
two
But not-
didn't get it.
It wasn't in common. Val specifically.
Yeah, it was in tongues towards them.
How does
I think
tongues
tongues
work?
might
Is
be everyone understands it. Let me just Google it or look at it quick.
Yeah, that's a good point. If it's not just like you're speaking in their language, if you're speaking in a universal language, that's a different story.
Spell grants the creature you touch the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any creature that knows at least one language and can hear the target understands what it says.
There
So
you go.
everybody.
Universal language.
cool.
But 2 failed, so they'll still be hostile to us. Sorry, 2 succeeded, so they will be hostile to us.
Right, but
Yeah.
we don't know who succeeded and who failed at this point.
That's right.
And you have an unconscious figure who is
And an unconscious dude who could regain it.
who will at the end of this battle basically start to regain consciousness, and you'll have to figure out
Chuck
what
him
you
in the
do
pit
with
trap too. They're conveniently already in a hole.
him. Well,
They could try and get out.
the pit trap is 10 feet deep. These guys are almost 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
This is not a permanent trap for them. will be able to attempt to make their way out of this. You didn't specifically say there was any spikes or anything at the bottom, you didn't make up any
cool.
spears to
Really
deal
No, it
with
was just
damage.
like a holding place.
Yeah, it was just a hole for them to drop into. So it's literally just a spot that they've been held in, unable to move. On their turn, which is coming up, they'll get a chance to try to get out. But for the time being, 4 of the 7 combatants are charmed by Valentine, and 1 crab is dead. That takes us from Valentine's turn to the
Can
priest.
I just quick, I'll bonus action inspire Gord for the upcoming save.
That sounds good. How do you inspire Gord?
I'll be like, Gordo, we've overcome much more than this. That's it.
You got it. For the purposes of this, you guys will handily beat the remaining 3. Do you kill them? Do you knock them unconscious and let them
I don't think we should
go
kill
free? Or what? How do you handle the 3 marrow? You have 1 unconscious already, 2 in a trap. With all of you, there's no shot. How do you handle it?
I think I want to hear your insane plan, Hondo, but I would suggest we put them in the pit. We try and just say hey, we just want to chat with your leader. He's already going to chat with us. Just chill in this. And if they're still hostile, we would just knock them out in there.
But
what do you think, Hondo?
100% will be hostile.
Okay. What do you think, Hondo? I didn't know if with their leader in charge, that would change their tune. Okay.
What we gotta do is
We have to decide this quick, though. We're still in combat with them, basically.
Yeah.
we gotta kill one to show them what will happen if they don't cooperate.
I think we have to knock them out. I think they're just going to kill us. So I think we should just fight them to knock them out.
No, we kill one. The rest we can knock out.
I worry if we kill, I guess the spell wouldn't break if we killed one of them.
If you kill one who's not charmed, it's not affecting the charm.
Yeah, so you can kill one of the guys in the pit. I don't care what you do, but I think we should keep some knocked out.
Okay. I'm not going to have us roll through it. You guys will win.
You fight him.
2 of them are knocked out. Hondo slits the throat and begins cutting the head off of the third.
Yeah.
Stop, I didn't say that.
As he goes to work, you watch the 2 water elementals are kind of shifting and making their way across the sand, slightly slowed, and then kind of falling in line behind the priest. This priest kind of steps forward, and they look humanoid, but the skin is gray and kind of faintly tinged with a purple streaks through it. Their eyes are sunken and almost like fish eyes. They're almost like a tortured hybrid between the monstrosity of mer people and a humanoid figure. The marrow, who is also charmed, kind of just falls in line as well, as the priest kind of takes the point of this charmed crew and says, "So you wish to learn of our god, the Ma? How may we educate you?"
Just trying to get a nice spooky music going. Sorry.
What language, does Hondo understand what he's saying? Huh?
Hondo and Valentine understand. Actually, sorry, this guy does speak in common.
Great.
Had you killed him, different story, but he is alive, charmed, and speaks in common.
We need to learn many things. First, where does it reside?
He just kind of turns and gestures with a wide sweeping arm towards the basically in between all of the islands, the storm. He says, "Seafarer's End, of course."
Where do you bring tributes to this deity?
We have constructed a monument to the Ma in Narrow's Reef. But the awakening descent will arrive first light of next. We will take our tribute to the Ma. She has awoken.
She has awoken? Is that what it was?
Has she been slumbering before this?
She's
And sorry, the beginning of next light, is that what you said? Like in the morning? Okay.
sorry. First
Two
light
mornings,
after
right?
next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not next, the first light, light after next. So tomorrow morning. Or no, morning after next.
Yeah. Sorry, I said, has she been sleeping before this or something like that?
She slumbers long, but has awoken now. Some fell call.
Some fell call. What will you do when presenting these gifts to our awakened deity?
We arrive and present all that we have scourged and found. Present them as tribute, and hope she bestow upon us a new child.
Oh my fucking god.
Bestow upon us a new. I'm trying to write this all down.
New child.
Where is this monument?
Great cue. Where is this monument?
In the city, sunken long ago, evermore, Evermeet. The ruins deep, deep, deep in the twilight. And
Is that
kind of also like gestures to the heart of the storm?
Okay.
Yeah, fuck.
How do we phrase? Are these trinkets taken or left in the monument?
Does she accept your gifts and bring them back with her, or do they stay at the monument?
If she finds them worthy, she will take. Some she will consume. If we are unworthy, we will be consumed.
Do you know where she sleeps?
She long slumbers in the city, in the ruined temple, deep in the twilight.
As you swim from here, how long would it take to get to the city where she slumbered?
Many hours, many hours. A day of travel.
We need to know so much more. Would you take us there if we needed it?
You wish to see, to worship in person.
Like we said, we want to understand, but we feel like we don't. We would desire knowing more by getting closer.
At the awakening descent, all are welcome, all are tribute.
Okay, all our tribute. Just gonna eat everybody.
I'm like, be cool, be cool.
This is not in character.
Ask about the relic.
What was that, Kev?
The relic.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone can ask a Q here, by the way. I
Yeah,
can
you
just
can
translate
speak
for
the
you.
language too.
Yeah,
Kev.
in
that's
theory,
right.
we could simply say that.
Where are the
You
relics?
ask it,
If
I
you
would
ask,
reiterate.
Valentine could ask, but I'm not going to be a stickler.
Where are the relics?
Which relics do you speak?
There was a beautiful belt and a hammer as well.
Yes.
A wonderful tribute from long ago.
I know not of belt. I have not seen.
Do you know of a warrior that she keeps as a toy?
She keeps many things and people as toys. Tribute.
some tributes she keeps alive to play with.
Meet the maw.
This thing that the foul call is
Bell
that.
call.
Sorry,
Bell.
what was that?
Bell call. Not that it makes a
Bell
difference, but
call.
bell
Oh.
call.
FEL.
I guess we'd ask. Valentine to ask in a better way than I could. Like if this is if we understood the source of it, is it something else that wants to worship her, or how long ago?
We respond saying, we do not question why she is awoken, only celebrate the awakened.
So fucking creepy, staring into the camera.
When you bring her these gifts, do you bring it to her temple where she slumbers, or do you bring it to another monument?
To the temple, a great pilgrimage of all of us, all who worship, all of Seafarer's End.
What was the thing right off the top there, did you say?
A great pilgrimage.
Okay. Would outsiders be accepted?
To the
in this?
temple. Sorry, I did say to.
Oh, to the temple?
Gotcha. Would outsiders be accepted in this pilgrimage, or is it exclusive?
Only worshippers, true worshippers, those who believe. Others, outsiders, will be offered as tribute. You get the sense before you ask that question, Scott, with that last bit, especially Mary, with your insight, you gather that they will, whether the followers of the Maw would be able to identify, non-believers, so to speak. You're not 100% sure, but obviously the Maw would be able to identify. And there does seem to be this kind of brainwashing hive mind element to these creatures, like, trying to convince them that you're new worshippers seems like there's going to be more than just saying, oh yeah, we totally worship the Maw.
Tougher sell. Yeah.
My question was more like, would the other worshippers allow someone to peacefully go with them or not? But
It's same deal. Like,
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. What else could we use information-wise? We have not a specific location, just talking out of character. We have not a specific location. We have generally, she's in a couple days. It takes a day to get there, at least.
Roughly.
Tell us about, can I interrupt you, Mary?
Yeah, of course.
Tell us about the baby she offers in return when you do present her with good tributes.
If we all worship, if we are true and find good tribute, then a new one will be provided. Another one. Another Maw. One we may raise and bestow more tribute. One we will have brought into the world through our belief.
Cool. Baby Kraken.
Mm-hmm,
Excellent.
Ted could use a friend. I had another cue. What other tributes have you gathered thus far?
Many trinkets, ships, treasures, relics, artwork, blood.
How do you transport these tributes?
A pilgrimage, the descent from the monument of the reef. We
cool. I meant physically. Is there like a cart?
No, but that's very helpful.
Or like, does a
They just
whale pull it?
swim.
Yeah, they don't typically have underwater carts.
I don't even know what I mean. They're like, how do you get a fucking ship there?
Oh, they got a whale. They got a whale. Maybe they bring the whales in.
Yeah, think of how, I mean, things are also typically lighter underwater.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to bring a full ship to a Kraken. What the fuck is a Kraken do with an intact ship? Pieces will offer as tribute.
How many make this pilgrimage?
Everyone.
How numerous is
Many.
all? Cool. We don't have a number system.
I think
That's
a
good
lot.
to know.
I think a lot. Who does the Kraken despise?
Who dwell above the deep, and even those who protect the deep from rain. He looks at Hondo.
Have you seen more of his kind before? Do they threaten the Kraken?
Killed many, but not for long. Long time.
How long
He's
has
a-
it been since the last pilgrimage?
How many tides since the last pilgrimage?
Before my first.
Any other cues we want for this cat?
You have him for 24 hours under this.
Guys
thing.
Does your
Johanna?
village have toilets?
It's an interesting
need have
question.
we?
You know, just shit what they want.
They know what a toilet is.
I'm just curious.
They like shit in a loop. They're just like,
They just go.
yeah.
It's like fish. There's this-
You're telling me you don't
Okay,
shit
okay.
anywhere you go?
They're fish. They're fish. Okay.
Listen, fish guy.
This guy's
Okay.
kind of like a half humanoid creature.
That's true.
He does have
Um,
tentacles for legs.
Gross.
We wish. Yeah, go, Mary.
No, I'm just talking aloud for the group. So there's a city. That old city is where they're going to go. It takes a while to get there. We have to find ourselves a way. I'm trying to figure out what other information we might need. We have to get ourselves there somehow. In a
We
way
could go
that's
with them.
Sneaky. Well, no, because they might just try to murder us or give us up as tribute. The question is, can we get there and not be immediately
we
attacked
sail
or tried to
there?
eaten?
No, it's underwater.
Could we sail to this spot?
We could sail potentially. We could try and see if we can convince
Well, I'm
Wes to
asking him.
sail.
If it's safe.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
Sail through the storm is dangerous. Beneath the waves, safer. And destination, far, far deeper. Hondo, make an intelligence check for me. Just straight D20 plus your intelligence.
And my intelligence is
We're smarter than you think he is.
6. So 11.
Intelligence check.
You don't add 6.
Oh,
though.
sorry. +1. Sorry.
There you go. That's okay.
6
Your
total.
proficiency in I was trying to like how'd you get 6? Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's just too creepy.
Yeah,
you
he's
don't
a
get
real
more
creep.
from the words, unfortunately.
So I'm going to look at everyone and say, we might have to tell our shipmates to go somewhere else.
Stay safe. We did promise them shiny stuff, but
Let's ask how we defeat his maul.
well, it's in the frame of. Remember, these questions have to be in the frame of how do we learn about worshipping it. So everything has to be framed. Otherwise,
Okay.
they're not going to answer. Okay.
What threatens the maul that we need to defeat to protect it?
It kind of just like mulls that over for a moment, really thinking.
True love.
Please don't say that.
True love.
None truly threaten the maw, but all those above must suffer. All those above and below who stand in her way will perish. She and her children and her children's children will see to that.
Follow up. What
okay.
you go.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I just gonna say, what makes the mall angry or hurt?
Fail tribute. She will not abide. Those who dwell above, she will not abide. Those who think better, she will not abide. Any who defy her rule, she will not abide.
She may not like land, everyone. She may not like.
Probably what were you gonna say?
How many, if any, children does she have, and where are they now?
She has but one child and rests alongside the maw. She must protect her domain. She must protect the children of the maw.
She could have eggs. I don't know how fucking Krakens do this, but she could have eggs that she's been protecting or sleeping on. That's why she doesn't leave.
That does sound like something that Hondo you would have read in that book.
Oh, fuck. She's got eggs.
She doesn't necessarily need a mate.
When tribute is taken, when acceptable tribute is taken, is it taken to these children?
Yes.
Great. So we have to get it.
Children.
We have to get into the nest. Either it's in her stomach, or it's in the nest. How far is the nest from the monument?
From the point of the temple, we overlook her domain, and we send the tribute to her deep, deep, deep down to the temple, to her lair, to the children.
Fucking crazy.
Oh, God.
It is so late at night, and that's going to be in my brain.
Oh, yeah, that's fuck.
So they don't actually go down. They have to send stuff. They chuck it in a hole, and okay.
So we have a couple options here. Do you mind if we talk as players right now?
They like if you just walk away, like they don't move.
Okay, great.
I don't want anything we say to accidentally trigger.
Understand.
Yeah, I don't want anything we say to accidentally trigger. Oh, look, this is over now.
I think realistically, unless you do something drastic that would end this, you have 24 hours.
Okay, great.
You've worded this well enough to buy yourself that time. I'm okay.
Awesome. Good job, Scott. This is a fucking... This plan is excellent, guys. Way to go.
So if we... What was I thinking? So we do know a song that summons her and it pisses her the fuck off. At least that's what we've heard. That seems like it would make her leave where she is because it enrages her or whatever.
I don't think she's going to go that far from the nest full of babies.
We've heard that song can do stuff, but that is like, I don't know if we try and lure her with the song and then we try and get to the nest, get the stuff and get out before she comes back.
Or a bad tribute.
How so?
She consumes shitty tributes.
I know, I thought about that too. What if we could sabotage their tribute plan and then just see if she goes ham on them?
Another really bad idea, but the problem is timing is going to be basically impossible. We have a way to chuck people in a little mini demiplane with the
gem apparatus.
Yep. If we wanted to, and that's a big fancy schmancy magic-y item. That could potentially be really cool tribute. Couple problems. Unless one of us is one of us needs to be there with it, right? Who is a magic user by themselves to open it, and we have no way of contacting back and forth. 2, we don't know where that goes because we haven't successfully done a high enough Arcana check to figure out where the fuck the planes are that's attached to. So we'd have to survive.
I thought it went to Carval's lair or something. Oh, you mean we go there?
Well, I'm thinking if we needed to transport a bunch of us somewhere and then we could pop out and do something, that's an option. Another thing is, I don't know distance-wise, Scott, what do we need for the Wayfinder sphere to be able to tell us where an item is?
It's like 1,000 feet.
Isn't there a way
sounds like it's a long way down. And then I could upcast, I think, with spells, use a spell slot, and then it could do even more. Let me just pull it up.
It'd be a couple 100 feet down. 600 to 1,000 feet. You want to be in that range, but that's if you're like over top of it going up and down, right? So from distance lengthwise,
locate creatures up to 1 hour, and the one cast on it is 1,000 feet. You can sense the direction of this creature. Describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. You can sense the direction of the creature's location, as long as that creature is in 1,000 feet.
Isn't there an object portion of it? I know we read this like last game. I just don't remember what it is.
So then object is describe or name an object familiar to you. Same deal, 1,000 feet. Exact same deal, except it's a 2nd level technically, and the other one's a 4th, but this thing can just cast them.
Once a day?
At will. Let me see.
A key point about a creature that you're familiar with would mean you know its name.
Mm-hmm.
You have not laid eyes on it.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that would be, either scrying or having met in person through some means, the ability to be familiar enough.
Admittedly, sense. I care more about where the fuck the item is.
Mm-hmm.
So the creature is ginormous. We will be able to see where it is at some point, or know when it moves to where. The problem is we got to know if the item is in a giant pile of things that we need to get to and get the fuck out, or if the item is, attached to it somehow, right? Because those are two completely different plans that we need to figure out.
Yeah. So you either need to get eyes on, or in some capacity, you could do the enhanced locate object. I mean, but that still doesn't give you. That gets you the path, and it'll be like, go this way, go this way, go this way, go this way, go this way. But you still have to get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's still using that theory. You still have to get there, and potentially face the threats that are there. Just imagine a dragon's horde. You're searching for an item in a dragon's horde, and you just walk to the dragon's horde. Well, there's probably a dragon at the dragon's horde.
Yeah.
And
still gonna hold it back.
You still have to have that knowledge that okay, we have a direction. You can get confirmation, and you can get, say there was a more complicated path, you could easily get a better idea of that. But you still need eyes on, and then to figure out from there.
So we need to figure out if there's a way that we can, if let's say it's in a pile of loot with a bunch of baby krakens and dragon eggs on top of it, and a nest, and we have to get to that. Then if there was a way we could time it, the problem is I think it's got to move so fucking fast and it's got to be huge. They send the tribute down to it. It doesn't come up to get the tribute. There's probably some distance. They said it retreats back with the tribute. So there's a window. But the problem is we'd have to get there somehow.
We would have to go down with them and be either with that group or like watching this happen stealthily.
Right. But the thing is, ideally, we'd have to be there when the group is not there. We have to get ahead of it. That's not going to happen.
You do have these guys.
They could take us there now before it all goes down.
You could also, I mean, you could just go and do your best to search, but you got a big ocean. It's still condensed now to a singular kind of rough area. That's still a big search to go through without these guys. You still have options, but yeah, you have to either get down to track these options. You can try and like go alongside, like I think Scott, you had said, what if we went with these guys basically as this awakening descent was underway? That is definitely an option. Avoiding detection that either you are there or that you are not true worshippers is its own challenge, but it gives you a straight path. Think of like a full line of these mer people diving deep. That's your destination. But carries with it its own challenges and threat. But if you were to get there ahead of time and do your own scouting with either these guys or on your own, then you know that these guys are going to be on the morning after next providing tribute, and either the Kraken will arise and take whatever is there, or at least they'll give you a more succinct idea. But you still got some decisions to make.
Can we sleep on it?
Sure.
Do you guys just want to... Yeah, we sleep on this knowing we still have them for 24 hours. We could figure it out after we wake up. I think we need to consider our options.
Yep.
Yeah, we need more time to think.
This is so much more information than I even hoped to get. This is great.
Yeah, you guys executed that flawlessly. So, quick recap roundabout. There's the sunken city of Evermeet, Evermore, and that is more or less the heart of Seafarer's End. It is the lowest point of, as I described to Hano, these tiers of the sunken continent or the island, and it had been pulled down. Imagine it was siphoned down. And seemingly at a temple in its heart, the Kraken lairs, and tribute is bestowed upon by the factions, by the marrow of the multiple reefs, of the many marrow, or however many other creatures exist in this space, with the intent of providing the right tribute to this Kraken that will somehow bring about a new child, one of which seems to have been brought about and resides in the lair.
Could we ask Kyle what makes the best tribute, or what's the best tribute that they have to offer, or some kind of definition of the best?
As you return from this kind of little powwow you guys had by the fire,
still trying to understand,
these creatures are just kind of standing at the water, just kind of shifting creepily. You make your way back to this priest figure and ask, and he kind of breaks from this kind of stasis and wakes up, and his eyes look and they meet yours and then trail down to your armor, and he reaches out and just taps it and says, that she will take, that will give us the children of the Maw.
Cool. Great. Yeah, probably should have thought of that. Um,
The axe gave us her first.
That's what I thought. I was just thinking that shit.
So where the fuck is the belt if they only have the axe?
Maybe she found it herself. I don't know.
We'll find
But
out
that's
next
good.
time.
Oh,
Yeah, Isaac.
No.
so creepy.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as the Wildcards make final preparations and then dive beneath the waves en route to the Kraken's lair at Seafarer's End, with the hopes that this is not theirs too. There'll be a new episode up every Tuesday, so stay tuned. But until then, keep exploring.